Hello, everyone, and welcome to Herosner podcast, episode 17, live on YouTube and Facebook. I'm your host, Vik Aslanyan, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing partner in crime, Mike Balyan, where we discuss great Armenian history, covering different people, eras, and topics. It's Thursday, December 9th. Happy Thursday to everyone. One day closer to the weekend. We have the honor to be in this beautiful studio, and we're joined by our special guest, Kozi Beyokian, where we will be discussing our main topic, history of Armenian rugs. How are you, gentlemen, today?
Very good. Looking forward to this beautiful segment. So I'm ready.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us in your studio. I know we talked about this. You were going to join us in our studio,
yes.
But we were like, this is going to be...
This is better.
Yeah, this is much better.
This is a lot better.
Those of you who don't know Harach, if you don't mind giving us, our audience, a little bit about yourself, a background, where you're from, how you got involved into rugs, just a small bio.
Okay. Well, I was born in Aleppo, Syria. And at age 1, my family migrates to Lebanon. So I grew up in Lebanon. Then, mid-1970s, when the civil war started, I had to leave. Traveled for about a year and a half in Europe. Then joined my father in Chicago, who was already there about a year before me, and working for a carpet company, an Armenian carpet dealer, a very well reputable dealer. So I joined him. I was hired immediately by him. Then I worked also to another company. It was called Beloyan Isberian Brothers, and for about a year and a half, winter comes, and for a guy like me, too cold, man. I was grown up in a Mediterranean climate. I said, no, this is not a place for me. And we were on a vacation, met some old friends in New Jersey while I was traveling, and eventually moved to Southern California. So I've been in California since 1970, late 77, 78.
Wow, before I was born.
Same.
And I wanted to, of course, be in the carpet business. And I went to the design district, West Hollywood. At that time, believe it or not, most of the dealers were Armenians.
Yeah.
I noticed one sign, it said Minassian Rugs. NS Minassian. I went in, I said, I'm a repairman. I can repair carpets. Do you have any opening? Can you use a repairman? Said, well, what can you do? I said, try me. I said, how much you want? What's your rate?
Raj, if you don't mind, into the mic so you can,
okay.
Yeah, I know.
I said, listen, don't worry about it. Whatever you think I'm worth it, just pay me. I'm not going to go around. And anyway, to make the long story short, he tested me for 1 week. He was very impressed. He said, you're overqualified. I said, listen, don't worry. And I worked for him for a few years. Then I went to a private business. That didn't last too long. I was short in funds, and then worked again, and on and off. I've been in the carpet business. So eventually, in late 1980s, I met my beautiful wife, Mira.
Who's sitting in the background, by the way. Mira, you want to come in the camera?
She's the producer for the show.
Yeah. You want to come in the camera?
She's the one pouring the wine and the cognac.
Hi. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
I
Cheers.
don't want to take much of your...
So we started our own business. We started our own business in repairs. I built a studio in North Hollywood. Early 1990s, when Armenia became independent, we had this flux of Armenians traveling, coming, immigrating to Southern California. I said, listen, these women must be good in repairing rugs. So eventually the workforce grew to about 18, 20 women.
Wow.
They didn't know really how to repair. I said, listen, I'll teach you. I'll teach you and you can earn some money and you learn the trade.
Yeah.
So we worked there for a while, few years until 1995 was the earthquake. Yeah, 1995. Earthquake damaged our home. So we moved again to another place. And we were lucky enough to have an opening space in West Hollywood on Melrose. We opened the gallery. We operated from there another 5 years or so. Then in the year 2000, by now, I've been collecting and I've been into Armenian rugs. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
I said, listen, the business, the workshop in Van Nuys, 20 girls, women working, and the showroom between me and my wife, commuting back and forth, too much. We did some calculations. We said, we're closing everything. We're going to buy a property. We're going to build our home the way we want. We want to build our studio, our workshop. We're going to concentrate on what we're doing, on the study of Armenian carpets, Armenian textiles, and let's see where it takes us. We are lucky enough that many of our prominent designers that worked with us, they followed us. They said, doesn't matter where you are, we want to work with you. So we didn't lose too much business.
Yeah.
By working from here, it gave us more time to focus on the studies that we had to make. So for the past 21 years, we've been here.
Wow.
And working, studying from this location.
Yeah.
3 acres land, not too close neighbors, workshop outside, studio here, the home is here.
Yeah.
So
it's a dream.
It's
I mean,
your,
you guys,
it's your own little paradise.
You guys got to see the view that we see from here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
pretty nice.
And obviously everybody, you guys can see all these rugs. They're ancient rugs. As we mentioned, actually we didn't mention, it was on the live Instagram.
Yeah.
This rug on the table
Oh, yeah.
is 180 years old. And he gave us the okay to have the glasses on the on the table, but I'm still nervous.
Just be careful.
Yeah.
Grabbing the thing.
But again, thank you so much for doing this. It's amazing. It's the first time we're outside of the studio and doing live.
Yeah.
So we prepared some questions for you for the topics we're going to cover. By the way, everybody, just to let you know, this is going to be a 3-part series. So today we're going to be already grabbing
Something floating around.
It's like, are we high-fiving? What's happening?
no.
Okay.
Sure, we can if you want to.
Sure, there we go. Oh. All right. So the this is going to be a 3-part show, I guess you can call. So today we're going to go back to ancient history and cover the past, and then
Haraj, talking to him, he's almost like a historian. The knowledge that he has,
Well, he is a
absolute.
historian.
I mean, it's beyond that. The information he has is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of questions that we're going to be asking him that kind of dig back to things and tie things into a lot of the cultural aspects of and then leading into rug making.
Yeah.
You know?
So today's show is going to be, again, mostly the historical ancient history. And then we'll announce the second show later on, which will cover mostly, I believe we said from 18th and 19th century somewhere. Right?
The way I divide it is the first episode we'll do general. We touch bases from the beginning of time until recent times.
Yeah.
And then, since historic Armenia was big, it was huge, and we had different parts of Armenia. They had the subculture. Armenia,
Different
Armenian
provinces.
culture, different
Yeah.
provinces.
Yeah.
So, and then we're going to separate. We will see how Western Armenia got its own culture, kind of forked,
Yeah.
and then Eastern and Western. So
Yeah.
we're going to do the second one. We'll do Western Armenia.
Yeah.
And the third segment we do Eastern Armenia.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
way we'll cover everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to give too much away today. So, but again, thank you everybody who's joining us live both on YouTube and Facebook. This is the Herosner podcast. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that bell notification. So every time we go live, you will get notified. Also, we post all our Audio Spectrum podcast on YouTube as well, so you can listen to it. And on Facebook, thank you everybody who's joining us on Facebook. You guys have questions on the live chat. Go ahead and ask your question during the show. We'll post your question actually on the screen. You'll see it, and Harach will answer whatever question you have. So Harach, we've prepared some questions for you, and we're gonna start talking, kind of diving into the topics. Okay. So Mike, you want to take it away?
Yeah. So what I wanted to ask you is, you have a vast, having spoken to you in the past, you have a vast knowledge of, all Armenian history from the beginning of time. And we know that our people have occupied the lands that we know as the Armenian Highlands, which was more or less north of what we know as Mesopotamia, or almost in that area where the Tigris and the Euphrates began, right? We were known for cultivating and domesticating animals. What can you tell us with your knowledge? How much more can you elaborate on that?
Well, first of all, let me thank you guys. This is an excellent forum because I've done so many different lectures, shows, and things like that, public speaking about the same subject, more or less. But this gives me much more freedom and be spontaneous and answer questions.
flow.
And there's no time limit.
There's no script. There's no script.
There's no script.
Yeah.
And they don't tell me like you have 38 minutes exactly, and then we have 10 minutes.
Harach John, we can be here
for
all night if you
QAs.
like. We don't care.
We love-
as long
I love to
as
have
long as
you.
this is flowing, we're good.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thanks to Mira. Anyway, thank you guys. And making this is your first one doing outside of
Live.
your studio.
Yeah,
Live.
outside of the studio. Yeah.
I'm honored.
We're
that
honored.
you are here.
We're honored.
And you're making all this knowledge public. After
Yeah.
all, if somebody writes a book, nobody reads it. What's good is that book? So all the
Absolutely.
work I'm doing, we're doing, if it's not accessible to public, what's good it is?
Yeah, it needs to be documented.
So
Everything.
Thanks to you, you're making it public, and reach to the audience. Anyway, all right. The question was how it started between the Armenian highlands and
Yeah.
all that. Well, we know for sure. We know it's recorded that after the last ice age. The first area that this globe started warming was what is known generally as Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
Mesopotamia means in Greek language between two rivers. Armenians call it Michaketk, which is a compound word between two rivers.
Between two
basically.
rivers, yeah.
So at that time, I don't think there was any boundaries, countries, right?
No.
Yeah.
Maps, right? And that area was designated, was named between two rivers by its geographic location. And where did these two rivers really start flowing? Now, Mike, if you please, if you can go to
The map.
the third one, which is the globe, and it shows basically where that on this map it says Turkey, of course, but if you go to the second one, you see that highlighted map in between. This is where Mesopotamia was designated.
More or
That's
less.
between two rivers. And all the way up on the very top of that horseshoe, let's say, okay? The horseshoe on the top, the north part, is where Armenian highland is.
I think we have a zoomed version of this, right? There's
Maybe the second
Yeah, there
one.
we go. There
There
we
you
go.
go.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what basically Armenian highland was. The areas was named by its geographical area. Boundaries and maps came later. And where those two rivers started flowing, and every place between those two rivers became fertile. Hence, that area was called Fertile Crescent.
Crescent, yeah.
That's where our civilization's first life started beginning there. Plants, insects, birds, everything. The life started there. So the second one is Indus Valley, which is about 2,000 to 2,500 years later. So this is the earliest civilization that we know. And at one time, we were like any other people, hunters and gatherers, until we started domesticating those animals. Once we domesticated, about 11,000 years ago, the first domestication was goats and sheep.
Just to show some people on the screen who are joining us live on YouTube and Facebook, this is the area we're talking about.
That's the area we're talking about, and that's the Fertile Crescent. And as you see, the first animals that were domesticated in our civilization was the lamb, the sheep, and goat.
Yeah.
And it's no wonder that the first domesticated animal, the sheep, is called Ovis gmelini armeniaca.
That's
The name says it all.
It's right there.
Once those animals were domesticated and we started having the agrarian society, where people didn't have to migrate with the animals, they became settlements.
Yeah.
They settled there, they started having their own herds, they didn't have to move. From there on, if we go back to the second clip, where Ambassador Michael Furler states that whoever bakes or eats bread, makes or drinks wine, uses metal or jewelry, or wears clothing and shoes, is tied by invisible bonds of cultural inheritance to Armenia. This is well said. It's right to the point.
Yep.
Now, from there on, if we look for the past 30 years since the independence of Armenia, the archaeological findings that we're having, the 10 most ancient things were found in Armenian highland. I'm going to call it Armenian highlands because recently, I mean, you talk about Bordasar, which is, Turks call it Göbekli Tepe, which is the translation. I call it Armenian highlands. We later designated the lower part, the Cilician area, as Poker Hike, Meds Hike and Poker Hike. So all that I would call Armenian highlands. Now, at that time, it might have not been called Armenian highlands because at different times, the designation of Armenian people, the names were different.
Yeah.
The same people were called Urardians, Hittite. Of course, by different cultures, different people, they gave us different names. Now, they call the Urartian civilization. What happened? Just they disappeared in thin air? No. We're the same lineage. We're the same lineage. Now, for example, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know what means somkhuri?
Somkhuri, no.
Do you know what means somkhuri?
No, I do not.
Does that sound like anything we know? No.
Okay.
No.
Georgians call Armenians somkhuri.
Really?
Why is that? Is there a translation to this?
That's Armenian.
The
In
word
their
is Armenian.
language. No, the word is Georgian for Armenian.
Samkhuri.
Now, somkhuri.
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 Somkhuri is Armenian.
Okay.
Now, we don't call ourselves somkhuri. We call
No, of course not.
Haying, Hai. But any other people call us Hai? No. They call us Armenian. Has nothing to do, maybe. We are Armenians.
Yeah.
We are Hai. We are also somkhuri.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
You see,
I had no
those
idea.
names were designated, but the people were the same. There were no boundaries.
Yeah, there was. I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about any of the stuff that we've talked about, right?
Well, everything we've covered in the past.
Maps had separation points or
Of
borders
course,
or whatever
yeah.
the case is. But we generally referred to them as the people of this, the people of that, the people of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those names that were used by other cultures somehow stuck. And then in the history, for some reason, they separated us from them. But we're the same people. Anyway, going back,
Wow.
for example, they say Urardian art. To me, it's Armenian art.
Of course it is.
The Georgian would call it somkhuri art.
I mean, when we talk about this in the past episodes that we've done, we cover so many different eras and kingdoms and dynasties. You might talking about Urartu or whatever, like
Pianlini.
the last episode we did the Oranted dynasty. At the end of the day, it's all Armenian.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they were a little bit up north, a little bit south.
Yeah,
it was
they were
all
all-
Armenian highlands. That's where it was covered.
Well, again,
as he
let's
mentioned
go.
earlier, and we've talked about it in past episodes, they were provinces, they were pockets of people that were generally of the same descent. Let's call
Yeah.
it that.
Yeah.
Now, going back to that settlement, okay? Everything is abundant. Just imagine you had so much herd, domesticated animals, and people, there is a population growth. Eventually, they had to move. They had to find new pastures for their animals,
Yeah.
right? So they had to travel. And that's how it spread from there. The metallurgy, the weaving tradition, all that. At one time, I think Egyptians, they had a different name for Armenians at that time.
Wait,
They
didn't we
called
cover
it-
that?
I was just about to ask you the same thing.
Why am I blanking on
I
this?
forgot.
Yeah,
There's
they-
so many.
they
There's so
called
many
us-
terms. There's so many terms from so
Right.
many different cultures. During the time, the Sumerians called us something different. The Assyrians called us something different. The Hittites called us something different.
Yeah.
It was
Egyptian called us the river people. You know why? We used those rivers to travel down and believe it or not, at the time we had merchants. They would weave from reeds huge baskets. I mean, bigger than this room. Huge baskets. They cover it with animal hide. They use it as a raft. They put their mules in them. They put their wines and everything that they make, cheese, who knows what else, pottery maybe, and travel down the river all the way to down south, sell everything, then take those hides out, put them on the mule, and travel
Take it all the
back
way
up.
back.
to
Wow.
Armenian highland.
Wow.
This was recorded
That's amazing.
about 300 BC by Arab historian Ibn Khaldun. This is recorded, not by us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have, our history doesn't go.
Yeah, and then we've
Yeah,
discussed
some of
that
the
before.
remnants,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Anyway.
Yeah, that we.
Anyway, so if that's the first civilization, okay, if somebody wants to do a more research, please be my guest. Go and do your research. You'll see where the first civilization
Yeah.
started. It's again, if we go to older maps, you love maps.
I love maps.
In many places, for the Armenian highland or Armenia is referred also as Eden.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. We've covered this
Right?
too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah,
Is Eden. Eden is theoretically where this civilization started the first time.
Wasn't it referred to Eden in the Gilgamesh? Was it not?
No,
Or-
in the Epic of Gilgamesh, it wasn't. It was
Or it was
referred to,
referenced to it, I believe.
for Ararat Mountain, but there was a different name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we, of course, we don't have any tangible evidence of carpet weaving from that time because organic material
Yeah.
deteriorates and all that. But we did have pottery that has in the outside of it the basket pattern. So we know from Ibn Khaldun's writings that Armenian people wove baskets. They even built a raft from it. They used reeds and flexible plant material to do weaving. They also used baskets as a form to do clay pots.
Really?
The clay, they form it in a round basket. They just put the clay in there. They put it in a fire. The basket will burn. The clay becomes hard.
Hard, yeah.
You have a dish.
yeah.
You have a pot.
And you probably still have the patterns of the
Exactly.
On the
Wow.
exterior, yeah.
So we do
design
have,
technique.
well, it wasn't meant for design. Designs came later.
That was
But
must have been-
accidental
yeah,
design.
It was a happy accident.
Yeah, happy
it's a
accident.
happy
There you go.
accident.
Probably. So we do have very old fragments that found in Areni cave that was discovered recently, about 6,000 years old, about 4,000 BC. Fragments of textile.
Yeah.
Then, if we're going to come to the carpet, the oldest existing complete carpet is housed in Hermitage Museum. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But let's go with sequence. And we see how on this map we see how civilization was distributed from there, traveled to all over the world.
Okay. There we go. Here's the map.
Yeah, this one.
Okay. We'll share it right now. Bear with us, guys. We're live. We're doing this as we're.
Yeah. We have a huge file. I'm sorry.
No, I know. I'm just trying to make sure it can show on the
Yeah,
screen.
we're trying to
It's
cover
fine.
thousands of years of.
Yeah. We want to make this.
yeah, that's how. It
There we go.
started.
There we go.
and
All right,
and it
let's-
spread all over the world. Now, as of weaving technique, I have a theory that how did the first artisan, let's call him or her, I would call it her, because mostly women do the weaving. The first weaving technique was copied from a bird's nest, which was a basket, not a fabric.
Yeah.
Bird's nest. Even during the hunters and gatherers period, I would assume those women have to gather those berries, wild berries, and they would find those abandoned nests. Have you seen
Of
abandoned
course.
Yeah,
nests?
Absolutely.
Of course,
They just look like a basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends of the size of the bird,
Yeah.
bigger or smaller. So they basically mimicked what they see in the basket. They try to do the same thing.
thing on a rug.
And as their technique developed, they found out the finer fibers can produce a finer weave. And it continued from weeds. We still have hemp weavings.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
hemp
Yeah. Yeah.
Or reed, right? Baskets, etc.
Yeah.
From there, it went to the animal hair because they had those sheep domesticated.
Yeah.
And the sheep naturally releases, it has its own wool. If they don't shear, if the sheep is sleeping on its own coat, becomes packed, it
Yeah.
turns into a felt.
Yeah, you're right. It does.
So felt predates the carpet. I assume they use those felts to put under their beds or to sleep on because it's a natural
Yeah.
insulation, right? So that's how it all started. But it takes generations and generations and generations
For it
to
to evolve.
develop
Yeah, of
from
course.
one generation
And that's
to
going to
another.
lead me into the next question for you. And I do want to mention everybody who is joining us live. Again, thank you both on Facebook and YouTube. We do have some questions. We will get to them, guys. We want to go through these questions we prepared for Haraj, talk about these topics, and then we will get back to your questions. So go ahead and ask them. End of the show, we'll ask your questions to Haraj to answer them if he doesn't answer them during the show. So my question to you is, talking about like the art of crafting of the people in this area, starting from known history as far as Mesopotamia and the Armenian highlands. What do we know about the history, and I guess let's call it the abilities, right, of the Armenian highlanders?
Now, we did say that Mesopotamia is a descriptive name.
Yeah.
It's like a general
It's
statement.
a general statement for people that live there.
In that area.
area.
Yeah.
So they had to travel. At one time, they had to travel because they needed new pastures, new grazing lands. They had to travel. So they had to travel down towards the river. And when they traveled, they usually, in the ancient times, they followed the river. If you are lost in the mountains,
Yeah.
if you find a civilization, you follow where the water is taking you.
Of course.
Now, the question was, again, what was the question again?
The question is basically, what do we know about the history of the abilities that they had of the people in the Armenian highlands?
Well,
as far as
we
art
only
crafting.
we only can refer to the archaeological findings in ancient Armenia, which today is called Turkey.
Yeah.
Just it's online. Look at Bordasar.
Yeah.
Look at the engraving done on those huge stones. Look at the structures. Look at these monumental art that
Yeah,
they
the
have
time
done.
that was spent
Yeah.
to carve.
The time.
Yeah. And what it meant.
Unfortunately, the only things that survived from that period were those stones and the clay. Things that would not deteriorate. As I said, we cannot find any organic material that survived. Maybe some hair material, maybe some bones,
Small fragments.
small fragments.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we do have ample pottery, some metallurgical, some tools, swords, oldest sword,
Yeah,
for example.
there was something that was found recently. I know we've discussed it with Vahan,
yeah,
Dr. Vahan.
the oldest
right?
sword.
Yeah. What was it? What was
So
it
you
dated?
see, metallurgy was started there. So those are the only things that we can look at, and we can assume that 1 + 1 is 2. If they could do this, they must have done this. In order to do this, in order to carve those rocks, they had to have the tools,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
If they have the tools, that means they had to build the tools. In my business, for example, many tools that I use to restore rugs, I have to build it myself. So I have to be part carpenter, I have to be
Engineer.
machinist, engineer, all that.
Yeah. Because what you want to do, there isn't a tool for it. So you have to create it because you're seeing what's happening. So
Exactly.
So for you, it's like, okay, well, what do I need to do to come up with this
Yeah.
tool to make this weave or whatever it is that you're trying to repair?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And from archaeologists, they find one element, and the way that element, that thing is spread, they come up with theories and draw a picture what that place looked like. That's what history is.
Yeah.
You take certain pieces of the puzzle,
Clues. Yeah.
put together, and then you come up with this. So we do have enough clues to ascertain that the first civilization started there. Metallurgy was started in Armenian highlands. Weaving started there. Bread making started there.
Yeah.
Wine making and all that. Now, if you're going to make wine,
Yeah,
then
it's-
you're going to need containers.
Some of the oldest,
Yeah.
some of the, if not the
Pottery.
oldest winery was found in Armenia.
Yeah.
Armenia, yeah.
And not any. Yeah.
So, based on those facts, on those tangible evidences, we come to conclusions. Okay. Now, about the common belief is, the general common belief is that the wheel was invented in Mesopotamia. Well, again, Mesopotamia is a designation, geographical designation, but the oldest cart, if you can put this one on, was again found in historic Armenia, and why would, and this is a toy, by the way, and this sample is housed in Metropolitan Museum.
It's a toy.
It's a toy. This is a toy.
So I mean,
Hey,
it was
kids
yeah.
could
So
play
they
with
made it
toys.
for they built it for the kids.
They built it for the kids.
Yeah.
So
Kids
that
had toys
tells
back
us
then.
that they had the bigger one of the same thing. And this will tell us that, okay, they used bull-drawn carts
Yeah.
to travel.
Now again, how old is this?
This goes back to about, this was found in Medzamor, about 4,000 years old.
Wow. That is amazing. 4,000 years
that
old.
thing's still intact, man.
Yeah.
It's not, there's nothing wrong with it. Like,
Yeah.
I would still give that as a gift.
Yeah. That's amazing. See, well,
I mean, it's still intact, man.
gift? No, I'd
It's
keep it.
Well, not a 4,000-year-old version of it, but maybe a replica. I'd keep that
Yeah,
version.
maybe you should
Yeah.
3D craft one.
Now, next photo will show us, of course, the everybody knows about the
oldest shoe,
the oldest shoe in Armenia. But the next one is a fragment of a cloth, and this one is about 10,000 years old.
And this was found in Armenia.
In Armenia, 5 years earlier at the dig in Turkey. I'm going to call it Armenia because there was no Turkey back then. This fragment was.
I love how you said that there was no Turkey. Yeah, you're right. There was no
there was
Turkey
no
back then.
Turkey
It's
back then.
Armenia.
Yeah, I call
It's
it
always
Armenia
Armenia.
because
Yeah,
it was
it's
called Armenian Highland.
Yeah.
Those people were in the East. They weren't even, maybe
Yeah.
even concocted back then. Who knows?
And this piece was braided. Now, braiding, again, another technique. And this is about 10,000 years old.
I don't think people, to grasp the idea when you say 10,000 years
But
old.
it's still difficult
So
for anyone
8,000
to.
BC.
Yeah. People don't understand when you say, see it seems like just a number, right? You say 10,000 years old. But if you actually start thinking about it, our lifetime right now, we're still, in
It's
the
like a
early,
speck of sand.
go back
Grain of
how
sand.
many centuries have gone, and this is what they were creating back then. So I think that's the point I always at least try to make when we do the podcast and we talk about, BCE or, all these kingdoms and stuff. When we say 4th century BC or 6th century BC, people don't understand how long ago this was.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to emphasize all the time is that this was a long time ago. And you need to understand how far Armenian culture has come and what we were doing back then and how we've almost contributed to civilization.
Yeah. Yeah.
May very well have sparked
Now,
it.
Vic, let me point out something here very significant. It's noteworthy. If you look at this picture,
Let me bring it back on.
that's 10,000 years old. And guess how many years it took for the primitive men to develop the skill to make such a fine weave.
Yeah.
So if this is 10,000, it takes at least another 1,000 years prior to that.
Yeah. Trial and error.
Trial and error and refining the technique.
Yeah.
It takes generations to refine it to this level.
Of course.
So again, that I would say about another 2,000 years probably. Okay, the next one, the next file shows the Areni cave. That's 4,000 BC.
This was pretty amazing photo.
Yeah, that's 4,000 BC. And the list goes on. Here is this one actually was found in Medzamor. This is older. This is this one, let me see, this had the swastika on it. Can you see the swastika?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if I can hold the mouse, if people can see this.
Well, there is another close-up, probably.
Let me see if I can fit this, zoom to fit. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys can see this.
That's another clothing fragment. That means this is not a carpet. This is not a crude weave.
Yeah.
This is fine cloth. To do this kind of cloth, imagine how fine the yarn must be spun.
Yeah.
It's like taking that animal hair and spinning it really fine, long lines,
To get the details.
so they could weave a cloth. Now look at your shirt. Look at each thread. In order to be this flexible, they have to do the thread so fine. And at that time they used spindle.
Yeah.
Mostly was spindle to make the thread. And then you see color difference here. So they discovered also natural dyes.
Well, let's also go back to the fact that they were able to create the spindle to do.
Yeah.
Well, again, the evolution of the craft
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Like the previous slide that we
But
were looking at.
that's my point.
Yeah, it's. I'm sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's
So again, we go again refer to the tools to make this.
yeah.
Okay. So there are bits and pieces of those kinds of evidences that gives us enough reasoning to justify what we are stating.
Yeah.
Now, what you are looking is, everybody knows by now about this rug called Bazrake, was discovered in Altai Mountains in 1947 by an archaeologist. This carpet was frozen in a block of ice, and the upper right corner that is deteriorated, that part was left outside of the ice.
So the ice preserved most of
The
it.
ice preserved for 2,500 years, probably it was frozen in the ice. That's why it was preserved. In 1982, the first art historian who wrote an article and a book about this carpet was a German art historian, Ulrich Schurmann. According to him, this piece, he stated that it's late Urartian Kot, early Armenian. Since then, there was a debate. Turks said it's Turkish, Persians said it's Persian.
Of course they did.
Azeris said, no, it's Azeri.
Of course. Yeah, Azeri.
And finally, a few years ago, they did a dye analysis. Beautiful reds.
Mm-hmm.
It has beautiful reds. And the dye analysis revealed that it was dyed by a cochineal, the Armenian, we call it Vortangarmir, the Armenian cochineal insect. Are you using ice?
No, I'm not using ice.
You didn't like it?
No,
with
I loved
ice?
it. I loved it. I loved it. I
Okay.
just,
Well, here comes your ice.
Mira is helping me here with the,
Yeah. Yeah, I suggested try 1 cube of ice with your Ararat cognac. Anyway, so
there you go. Thank you.
this rug was
Cheers,
tested.
everyone.
Cheers. Carbon tested 500 BC.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, sir.
Thank you. My Voske Vazarini. I love this one.
I got to try that next time.
Did you smell it?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it
amazing.
smells
The
amazing.
aroma.
What did you say before the show started? What did you call it? What did it smell like?
Armenia.
There you go.
Armenia, there you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Armenia.
Oh my
It
God.
smells Armenia. I wish our audiences can smell. Anyway, cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
From the land of the oldest winery. Cheers.
This is true.
This is the beauty about live shows. You know, you drink, you talk. I feel like I'm in my own home. You know,
It's not really scripted.
Yeah. Well, besides the questions.
Well, I
but
mean, look,
yeah.
they're just reference points.
Yeah.
You know? You
So,
should have studied.
There's not enough time in the world.
No, you guys are pretty well versed. I mean, you know your subject. You come prepared.
We'll do our
Questions
best.
You asked, even before this segment, I mean, when we met and talked in general, you guys were well versed. And I don't know, this is not the only one about Armenian history. You did with Gevorg Nazarian, 2 segments.
Oh, it's episode 17, so we got 16 on the belt.
We've had a little bit of training. I mean, look, we've said it plenty of times in previous episodes. We weren't historians. We're not scholars. We were on this journey together. We wanted to learn more and more and more based off of what we know.
You're doing great. And
So
I'm
it's-
sure if the audience really goes back to your old
Yeah, there's a lot
episodes,
of information, guys. There's a lot of
lot.
information in there.
In fact, I think all of them, I imagine they're like volumes of books, like an encyclopedia,
encyclopedia, yeah.
that complete the whole thing. You have Nazarian, Gevorg Nazarian, you have Vahan Setyan covering different areas, and then this all becomes just a huge library.
Yeah, you continue to expand. It's not just about kings and queens.
Exactly.
You want to talk about the people. You want to talk about the cultural aspects of things. You want to go back and understand what normal people did. What
made you come up with this idea?
Well, we talked about
amazing.
Well, the interview is now on us.
it. Yeah, apparently we're
No, really, I really want to commend you.
Harash is now
and
interviewing us. I'm okay with this. Ask away, sir. I'm kidding.
really, what made you to tap into the Armenian history, especially parts that were not really covered in those conventional history books?
It started from the art. It started from kings and queens and famous figures, whether it was through language or writers or songwriters or whatnot. But then it turned into, anytime we would plan about something in terms of art, we'd sit down at his office and talk for like a couple hours. We would just talk.
Yeah. So we're unfortunately and fortunately, this whole thing started because of the war.
Yeah, it did.
And with his design of the Tigran sculpture and just one thing led to another, not to dive too deep into it. Like you said, we would sit and talk about history, and again, we weren't that knowledgeable. We get carried away, and it was just more like, hey, I told him, why don't we do a podcast? He thought I was joking.
Well, that's your fault.
Yeah.
I'm blaming you for the whole thing.
And the part of me why I wanted to do this was because, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I drive a lot in what I do. So I'm always listening to podcasts. And there's so many little Armenian related podcasts out there, and none of them really talk about history.
Yeah.
And I always believe that if you are versed in your own history, you will be a better person. You will understand who you are, where you come from. You'll respect your culture. And I think you will respect other cultures.
Absolutely.
So that's where this whole thing came. And we gave it a shot. And so far it's doing good.
I really commend you guys.
Thank you.
You're doing great work. All right. Coming back to Bazarek rug.
Yeah, let's go back to the carpet.
This Bazarek rug since 1947 was housed in, as I said, in Hermitage Museum, and it's accessible. Anybody can go and see it. But now, aside from the dye, also the weave technique of this carpet is uniquely Armenian. Later down the line, we will discuss the differences between the Armenian weave and non-Armenian weave. What are the differences? How I can tell which carpet is Armenian or not. Mm-hmm. We don't just look at the carpet's pattern and say this is Armenian. No, we have to examine the weave technique, all that. We'll cover that later. But if you go to the next, I want to point out something else here. Now, in this detailed photo of one corner, if you can enlarge it, if you place the second...
This one?
No,
oh,
this
the one
one.
previous. Okay. Sorry, I skipped. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
No.
Now, try to bring one corner and enlarge that.
Let me see. I have to
Can you
zoom to
Can you zoom it?
Yeah, let me see if
Yeah,
I can
there
zoom.
you
it.
go.
Can you zoom it to one horseman? Go down.
Right
there,
here.
there.
Okay, let me
Now,
zoom in as much as possible. Sorry, guys,
that's
we're
good.
doing this live.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I hope everyone
That's
sees this clearly.
perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Now, if you look at this detail, okay, there are several things we're going to be talking about this rug as far as the pattern concerned. Now, you see the red. Of course, each computer's screen reflects the color tone differently, but basically that's what the Armenian cochineal color is, that red. And if you look at the detail on the horseman, you see that there is a saddle on the horse, and it's a carpet.
Wow, so they weaved a carpet on a carpet.
On a horse.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that tells us that...
Let me sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know, how big is this carpet? How big is that area if we were to kind of, for the audience to
actual
understand,
scale.
Okay.
Yeah.
to scale, for them to understand the detail of the work that they did of a carpet, of a carpet on a horse?
for that time, the weave of this carpet is about 220 hand-tied knots per square inch. Now, what do we mean? How the carpet is made is, imagine you're looking at the screen, and if you enlarge it big enough, you start seeing pixels.
Yeah, it's like the resolution on the screen.
The resolution on the screen. That's how these
Let's see how
carpets
close
are
we're going to
woven.
get. Wow.
That's how these carpets are woven, and they go horizontally,
Yeah.
one line at a time, tying dot, 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 dot. Imagine drawing a picture on a 4x6 paper by placing colorful pens, only by placing dots.
My God.
Only by placing dots, and you can also only go horizontal one line at a time to come up with this.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how sophisticated this is?
And this is how old again?
2,500 years old, 500 BC.
Wow. You hear that, people?
How did
500
that
BC.
survive?
Forget the survive. What they were doing 2,500
I
years ago.
understand, but like,
No,
you would think it would
again,
disintegrate at some point, right?
well,
you would think.
It was frozen.
Yeah, but
We're
it's
lucky
still-
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In order for the artisan to come to this sophistication, it has to be at least 10 to 15 previous generations, a development of that technique to do this. I'm talking as a weaver.
Yeah.
Forget everything else. And it's telling us that also they used carpet as a saddle. You see that? With the tassels and everything. And then on the upper gold color, we see that element, which is like a cross, and then there is that X. Make sure you keep this pattern in mind. We're going to be talking about this later, okay? This, we still use it today in everything. This is eventually the 8-pointed star is also related to this. The Dikran de Grade's sun,
The sunburst
sunburst, again, it's the same thing.
or starburst, whatever it's
Yeah.
considered. Yeah.
Now, go further up. You see those deer, the elk, or whatever those
Yeah, let
animals are?
me zoom into this.
If you can zoom that, this is the red deer of Armenian highland. Until today, we still weave these animal in our rugs. I just posted one in my Facebook page.
Yeah.
I have several copies of this. Now, again, look closely. If you examine, if you even enlarge further, the weaver displayed the inner organs of the deer.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah,
what that
I
was.
can't zoom in
that?
anywhere. This is the furthest I
Yeah,
can
but
go in.
I
But
was
yeah,
wondering
See the
what
inner
that was.
organs? Yeah.
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 that is amazing.
You see how much one carpet can tell us, just a small part of it?
You know, that's gonna lead me into my next question, or what I wanted to say is, I mean, you look around you, right? Every single one of these pieces, all the symbols, everything that you see on here, I could imagine this means something. 100% this means something. I know I wanted to ask you the last time we talked, but we didn't have time to, but I'm going to ask you now. So you might as well let me know, or let us know, what do some of these symbols mean? What is it?
Actually-
where did it come from? What significance does it have? Time periods or hierarchy of people,
Okay.
you know?
You know, and to add to that, we had a audience member who asked us, "What does the rug behind you mean?"
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I steal your question?
no.
No,
I was curious
cover,
too.
We'll cover. Maybe,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
we're gonna cover all that.
You know.
But let's not jump ahead and come back.
Okay,
Lose the
okay,
sequence.
okay.
Now, I'll answer that.
Sure.
As soon as we're done with this.
Yeah, no problem,
We're
no
almost
problem.
done. Now, this carpet is considered pictorial, and actually pictorial and monumental, which leads us to the second topic about patterns. Let's not go to those manuscripts yet. You asked about the patterns.
Yeah.
You know, you had two segments with Vahan
Setyan, yeah.
about alphabet, about our language,
Yeah.
the Armenian language. Well, you talked about dialects, how many different dialects. At one time, Armenian language had 275 dialects.
Yeah.
275, from which about 85 still is
Around.
in use.
Yeah.
But when you say dialect, is it just minor accents here and there, or is it like really like they can't understand one another?
At some places, they cannot even understand. I mean, I have friends here that were born and raised in Lebanon. They meet a Yerevanian guy, just got here, and he's speaking. He's lost. He doesn't understand anything.
Yeah. Closer to the mic.
Totally different language for some people.
Yeah.
But again, there are different levels of, for example, in Hajjan, they say Aiv Gakko. Aiv, you would assume they don't pronounce the R. If you replace the Y with R, it's Ariv. Ariv Gakko. Gakko is Guka,
Yeah.
right? But it means it's raining. For example. Now, today's Armenia, in Gyumri, they say Udemke.
Yeah.
We say
Yeah.
Gudem.
Gudem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gudem. They say Utemke. Siremke.
Yeah.
Ke comes less.
Yes.
Yeah.
For some people, that's not legible. They don't understand.
Yeah, they
what
won't
it
process it properly.
No. I don't want to go into the linguistics, but to give you a sample, the communication, language was a communication tool, right? There was more than a language to communicate. There was a time when the women who wove these rugs, they didn't have formal education. They didn't know how to read and write. That didn't mean that they weren't wise. That didn't mean they didn't want to say something.
Yeah.
Or their life experience that they have learned from their ancestors didn't want to pass it to their children and grandchildren. So they had to come up with symbols that were used in many other places. For example, there are many signs that depict stars, sun, the tree of life, similar to hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
Similar to hieroglyphs. And if you follow the chart of the Armenian alphabet, there was a poster by Armen Khanjian who separated different era, how the Armenian alphabet was evolved. Starts from petroglyphs. If you look at the images on petroglyphs, their writings, actually, they're similar to hieroglyphs. They're telling story in pictograms. So, in development, that to make it into weave technique, now you cannot weave anything the way you want. You have to follow strict rule.
Yeah.
You have either horizontal lines or vertical lines. It's your ingenuity how you can make a curve out of that, right? Now, in the older days when the weaving was much more crude, they could come up with those geometric forms which had a significant number of curves that meant something. If we study today, the majority of the Armenian carpets that are in geometric, they evolve around certain numbers, number 2, 4, 8, same sequence as the computer, the pixelation grows, the memories. Look at your memory card, for example, how it grows. 8, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128.
Yeah.
It's the same,
power of 2.
The power of 2, everything. And why 8? The 8 is the most significant number in our language. 8 is ut. Ut is utyun. Utyun is infinite.
Yeah, sign of infinity.
Continuous.
Continuous. It's the only language that when you add the suffix utyun, it becomes infinite. But it's the only language that the suffix alone, it makes sense.
Yeah.
In none of the other languages that also use utyun, Tion, English, again, it's infinite. But the suffix alone, it doesn't make sense.
And what is an 8 sideways? It looks like the infinity sign.
Correct. That's also. Now, most of the patterns of Armenian rugs, therefore, are monumental. They're not ornamental.
Yeah.
We do have ornamental carpets that were borrowed from, commissioned from neighboring models, flora and fauna sometimes, but Armenians did that too. But unlike the neighboring countries, for example, Persian rugs, if you look at a Persian rug, you can see clearly, you can even differentiate between different types of flowers. This is a rose, this is a carnation, it's clearly visible. You see a horseman hunting, flowers, trees, brushes, so forth, so on. Medallions, ornamental. It doesn't have the same messages that Armenian carpets in geometry that they have. We are right now at the just tip of the iceberg. I mean, we cannot decipher everything. It's almost like a lost language. Now, Mike, you're looking at
the patterns.
I mean, we're just overwhelmed with.
Guys, you guys don't see the whole room,
I don't
but
know.
there's.
I wish I could turn the camera around for everybody to see what we're.
You know what this is?
Yeah.
What this is?
That is. I mean, it looks like a different version of the swastika, sort of.
It is.
Yeah.
What this pattern is?
That's.
You have the same thing in the border.
Yeah.
Now, in that case.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing as the border all the way across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
what does it mean, though?
It mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
If you pay attention, in this case, the message that's hidden in here, it's the negative. It's not the pattern you see. It's what's between the pattern. It's another swastika.
Oh, yeah, there we go. You're right.
You see?
Yeah,
I mean, there are
space.
things like this that it takes years of observation and comparative, and you have to compare.
Haraj, just to go back on what the image we're talking about, the deer, we had an audience member, Hasmik, asking us, is the red deer known as maral?
Yes, I just made a post yesterday, I think. Maral is also what we call the deers.
Okay.
Yeah, maral.
Well, there you go, Hasmik. We answered your question.
Hasmik.
Maral, beautiful name, by the way.
Yeah. My cousin's name is Maral.
Yeah.
There, at one time, Armenian Highland had a red deer, which was the biggest deer next to the moose
That
It's huge.
my God, moose are huge.
Yeah.
Moose are
Now,
big,
next
big.
to the
Yeah.
moose, the biggest deer was the red deer. Unfortunately, it's extinct
They're
now.
that big.
Yeah.
Since quite some time. It's been overhunted and they overcut the forestry. Anyway,
Humans do humans.
so I don't know. Did I ask you answered your question?
I
or
mean,
I
well,
got carried
less,
away
yeah,
with
more
it?
or
Yeah.
less.
I mean, that answered my question as well.
Sorry,
It's deja vu with Kevin.
it's a little.
No,
Get
no.
a little
My
excited
question
sometimes.
was gonna be about the you being the incredible expertise, having the incredible expertise of rug making and kind of understanding the history of art form. What have you deciphered? Well, I mean, you kind of said it, but if you want to maybe in a different way, we were the question was going to be, what have you deciphered through your studies of the art form over your lifetime? What do these symbols and icons mean?
Frankly, so far there were several attempts about deciphering these patterns, and most of the existing literature on the patterns are really joke. Okay, let me say that, except few, maybe all those books that are written about Oriental rugs,
Yeah.
carpets, patterns, and all that, they're just propaganda tools. Okay, most of them was written by dealers. There are very select, very few real scholars who wrote the books that made sense. But even those scholars that wrote those books, they were not weavers. A weaver can see something that an art historian might not.
No, absolutely.
Dealer will write books, will make these stories, fantasies about those rugs, the flying carpet, the Aladdin.
wanna
this
bring
and
up
that.
the
They'll
value.
bring up
That's
the
what the dealer
value.
does.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, the other authors basically copied what was previously said, and that's why we have this all wrong assumption,
Wrong information.
wrong information. And right now I feel like those people are like those three blind men in a room with an elephant, and each one touching a different part and saying, oh, we have a pipe here, oh, we have a rope here, oh no, we have a wall here. And they don't know there's an elephant there sitting, right? Because they didn't do their own research. Now, as far as I'm concerned, what I'm doing, I didn't even touch the tip of the iceberg. I just caught one line and I'm not letting it go.
Yeah.
I just started deciphering several things from who knows how many different symbols there are that are saying something. They're like our alphabet.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
like
it's a story.
pictograms.
It's a story. Yeah, it's a story.
One thing I've noticed, though, we were talking about dialects. I've noticed that each region of historic Armenia, basically they had the same belief system. And they portrayed the same iconography in a slightly different version. For example, one of the elements that are mostly used is the sun, Areb. For example, I have a carpet that reflects a shining sun, Areb Ashor, that was woven in a village of Zara next to Sebastia. And then I have another one woven in Jerapert, Sunnic region of Artsakh. They both are saying the same thing in a different dialect.
Yeah.
And you could clearly see the difference. Then we have the Vishabs. Vishabs are totally different.
Dragons or
and then
snakes.
we have the tree of life. We have many other symbols. But they all are saying the same thing in slightly different dialect, just like the language they speak, the dialects they speak. In fact, if we want to take it further, Mike, if we compare the patterns of Armenian carpets to the old traditional Armenian costumes,
Yeah. A lot of the symbols are very similar, at least.
No.
I mean, I haven't paid attention to that degree, but
Yeah.
you're right.
look at Armenian costumes, those beautiful costumes that Armenian women wore.
Yeah.
I have.
You're talking about the taras and
Yeah, taras.
Yeah.
Daras.
High taras,
Yeah,
yeah.
high gagandaras.
and what from the research I've done, every region in Armenia, Gyumri, Artsakh, you know, Kirovakan, whatever you want to go, every region has their own.
They had their own, yeah.
design,
Unique.
Yeah.
unique to their region of the taras that the women wore,
Yes.
and they're just beautiful. It's amazing. The
Why
detail
is
work.
that? Did you ever ask why? Why neighboring region is completely different than this? Why is that?
You know, I mean,
I think it's to represent, you know, their neighborhood, I guess you want to call it, their town or their region, you know, their traditions. Listen, as Armenians, you know, we have these traditions, right? We call them, oh my God, why am I blanking out?
why are you blanking?
I
out?
have no idea.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying like we have all these traditions, right?
Right.
But I think also within every region, they have their own little
Every s-
version of that tradition.
Well, look,
So-
the best example I could bring up, and I know I've probably brought this up before, so I'm not trying to butcher it, but do you remember what we know with Renaissance history, right? You had the city-states in what we know as Italy. You know, the Milanese were different, the Genoese were different. They had their own colors, they had their own symbols and whatnot.
exactly,
It's-
representing
that's-
your town,
so-
your
and,
yeah.
and each one of these cities could have been, for all we know, 50 miles apart.
Yeah.
But what he's asking is, why is that? Why? Because of the
Okay,
proximity.
if we go back,
Right.
if we go back to the Bazrik rug, you want to click on the Bazrik rug again?
Yeah, of course.
The corner one, the corner.
This one, okay. Let me.
Now, if you enlarge it,
Let me share this with our audience. What? Hold on.
the corner,
Yes.
the next one.
This one?
No.
Oh,
the
next one,
Next
one,
slide.
yeah.
Next slide. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
enlarge,
Okay.
enlarge the horseman.
The horseman. Okay.
Okay.
Let me share this with
Now-
our audience so they can see what we're seeing.
Why is it that the weaver made such an effort to distinctly portray the tail of the horse? You see the tail of the horse?
Yeah. Of course.
Why? And you see there are like a ribbon around it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
Is that,
here.
is that the way they dress their horses, perhaps?
Back in time, only the royal dignitaries were allowed to fold and tie the horse's
The hair,
tail
yeah.
and leave a ribbon around it. Because from a distance, anybody that looking at that horseman would know it's a royal dignitary. You better not approach.
Got it. So just the horse itself was
Just the horse itself. And also the saddle said something. The patterns on the saddle also
I mean, look,
said
they're
something.
different.
yeah.
You know, that's different.
Now-
That's different.
Okay, going back to the
Even
daras,
this one is
right?
Even that one's different, yeah.
Going back to the daras or the Armenian women's costumes, they didn't speak. It's not like today when we see a beautiful girl, we go say, "Hey, where are you from?"
If you know, one of our audience just jumped in and said, Aline Kevorkian just said the costumes are different from region to region is because they didn't travel far beyond their borders like we do today.
Also,
that a-
that's correct, Alan.
Yeah.
That's
Good job,
correct.
Aline.
You're
Thank
right,
you.
Alan. However, that also served another purpose, indirectly maybe. If somebody saw this beautiful girl walking with that beautiful dress, would look at the dress and say, "Oh, she's from Mush. Oh, she's from such and such clan."
It's an
She
identifier.
came as a bride to Van and she married to such and such clan, and she already has 2 kids.
Just
a boy
from
and a girl.
Just from what she's wearing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an identifier.
Wow.
Now, if a truck stood here, the truck is brown. A man came down with brown shorts and brown T-shirts. What would you say?
UPS.
UPS.
I deal with it every day.
Why didn't that cross my mind right away?
So
Every day I deal with UPS. So.
I don't.
again,
It's like, what?
the costumes of women and men that they had at that time, it was a statement of who they were.
But that was a daily. That's a daily.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
Of course
that's
not.
what I
They
want
were
to say. Like,
but
yeah,
even the daily ones had something.
some representation.
Some
Yeah,
representation.
got it.
You know?
Got it.
They're not going to wear
So
those.
not necessarily ceremonial.
There are some
Yeah, of course,
ones also.
absolutely,
They have
absolutely, but not
ceremonial ones also.
necessarily.
Yeah. So the same thing goes into carpets. Now, a lot of people ask me, they say about the prayer rugs. Prayer rugs are the ones that are directional. They're not symmetrical. They usually have an arch on top and just similar to an altar, okay? And they say, oh, it has an arch. It's a prayer rug. It must be Islamic. No. Well, Islams use it to pray on it. Yes. But why it's Armenian?
Yeah.
Do we have a sample we can share with our audience for the prayer rugs in the
prayer
one of the
rug, I'm not sure if I did give you, but it's a simple
directional rug?
directional rug. I don't know. Let me see if we have any. Oh, here.
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
we
was
have a
gonna
live
say that
one.
one, yeah.
Forget the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
God,
By the way,
thing's
this is silk.
gorgeous.
Our
by the way.
producer Mira just assisted us. Thank you very much.
Anyway, I don't know if they could see.
Here,
Anyway,
let me hold it close.
I'm glad she's not. I'm glad she's not
you
angry
guys
that we
can
didn't see
see
it.
this.
But yeah, the detail on this. You know, guys, we were talking about how it almost looks like it's got pixels. This thing's insanely detailed when you see this up close.
480 knots per square inch.
Wow.
It's silk. Anyway, what I was saying, what's the difference date between Islam and Christianity?
600 years.
Okay.
Jesus. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, they had their own, sir. You know,
We
more or
that
less.
They both are
Yeah, more
came
or
from
less.
Judaism,
Yeah.
but Islam is much older. My theory is if Islams wanted to see what is a prayer, now 600 years or maybe 400 years before, when was Echmiadzin built?
351, I believe. No,
No,
30
351 was the alphabet. Anyway, somewhere around there. So there is at least 400-500 years difference.
Something like that.
Anyway,
I'm forgetting
what
this.
I'm saying is,
Wait, did you say that Islam is older?
no,
No,
the
no,
other
no,
way
yeah,
around.
yeah, the other way around. Yeah. Okay.
No, the other way around. So Islam, in Armenian churches, traditionally, there were no benches.
Yeah.
You either stand up or you kneel. And people wove commemorative rugs on the memory of the past ones. And they would donate it to the church. The floor of the church was covered by carpets on which people would kneel. And later in the mid-century, it became much more common when weavers started becoming much more literate, started writing names. So on the deceased, when they see the name of the deceased, they would say a prayer. The perfect example of that is a 18th century, early 18th, 1701 dated Gohar rug, which states, I I think I have the pictures somewhere. I Gohar.
Yeah,
with my
I
symbol.
yes. I
I
want to
saw that.
share that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, where is that?
Right there on the right.
Is it this one? No,
No, go down.
this one
Right,
right here.
that one,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
it.
So I want to share this with you guys.
Yeah.
And
This is a perfect example. This is a perfect example of a gift given to the church. Okay.
okay. Yeah, there you go, guys. You get to see this.
Yeah. Dated 1701. This rug represents a perfect example of a gift given to the church. And the church floor was covered with similar carpets, including the ones that resembled the altar. And many people that came from far away, they wanted to have an altar-like place, a holy place, a small chapel in their home, quote-unquote chapel. So they would weave a carpet that reflects an altar and hang it on the wall, and they would be their place,
Yeah, their sanctuary.
their sanctuary.
Yeah.
And also praying on the rug was also Armenian. Now, if we go to old manuscripts, old Armenian manuscripts, we clearly see on majority of them, you see a carpet almost always under the foot of the saint. You see that. Carpet weaving in Islam, if during that time, Islams did not weave carpets of these magnificence.
You
that
would
Armenians had.
think they did. I mean, when you
They
see
didn't.
it now, I know.
In fact, again, historically, again, Ibn Khaldun, in his records, writes when Arabs were ruling Armenia, in the taxes that they had to collect from Armenia, at that time there was no kings, there were meliks, there were the princes, the governors. Among the taxes, they had to give Armenian carpets
as a part of payment.
as a tax.
Yeah.
Carpets were
Yeah.
like a
They had value. Of course, they had value. Yeah.
And he writes about this. This is not it's recorded. So it's not far-fetched to assume that carpets were introduced to the Arab world by us. I mean, if you look at until today, in the oldest Arabic or carpet weaving from those areas are so crude, and they don't pass more than 300-400 years maximum, if that's a big if.
Yeah.
The best thing they did, they wove hasir, they call it, from reed. It's just a blank reed, like a kilim, but it's they call it hasir. That's the best thing they could do. They never ever did weave carpets in this sophistication.
Raj, before you continue, I want to read this. I
go
know
ahead.
for our audience who's going to be listening to us later on the podcast platforms that aren't watching, who aren't visually going to be see this, but this carpet right here, which was from 1700 AD, right?
Yeah.
So the woman who weaved this carpet, and I know the audience can see this on the screen, but it says, "I Gohar, full of sin and weak of soul, with my newly learned hands wove this rug." Basically, whoever needs this, say a
Sees
word.
this.
Oh, see, sorry, my eyes. See, whoever. No, it says whoever reads this.
Reads this.
Yeah, whoever reads this, say a word of mercy for me in the year of the 1149. That's
no,
beautiful.
1149 is the older Armenian date, the old date which coincides with 1701.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so and this is actually woven.
Hindomar, we call it Hindomarov.
Yeah, but for the audience, this is actually woven into the rug. This is written like they,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
So
the
and it's such
inscription is
a
on the
beautiful
top.
thing about her, you know.
Yeah, if you enlarge it, they could see the inscription on the top.
Yeah, zoom into that top part.
You see the top part
Yeah,
is
yeah,
just,
no,
yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to get into why she wrote this. You know, do you know much about it? What's behind it? What the message is?
We don't know. We don't have her image. We don't know what she did because she's feeling so sinful. I don't know if the there made her feel that. You're so sinful. You gotta do this.
Oh my God!
You have to
Weave it
weave
into a
around
rug.
so we can.
Oh man, that's
I
hilarious.
don't know. I don't
No,
know.
I mean it's a pretty powerful message from a woman to say, you know, forgive, you know, my sin and weak of soul. So.
Remember, if from here you take the central medallion of this, enlarge it. Vic, can you enlarge the central that cross? Enlarge
Oh,
it.
yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Okay, give
Enlarge
me a second.
it.
Let me.
Okay, if people can
Actually,
print that image in their mind,
Wait, hold on.
yeah, that one.
Okay, let me.
By the way, the central pattern of this one.
Technical
Okay.
difficulties, guys.
It's okay,
Sorry.
it's okay.
We're
Yeah.
trying to-
Well, that's big enough.
Windows
there you go. That's
photo
the
viewer
one.
sucks.
Now look at it. You
Windows.
you see a cross, and then you see an X. Do you remember the panel on the Bazirgrad?
What you
the
were
central
mentioning
panel?
earlier, yeah. Yep.
It's
8 point?
8 points.
8 points.
Well, there's 4 points.
Yeah.
And then there's the, if you go like this, it's 8 points.
Yeah.
This is the sophisticated version or a different dialect of the same symbol what we see in Bazirgrad. And we have so many variations of this. That's why I call each region had its own dialect,
dialect,
of
yeah.
executing any form of symbolism.
It's this specific style is different than the style that was on that previous rug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you outline the main lines, it's the same thing. They're saying the same thing in a different dialect.
That's so beautiful. Wow. I think we should just throw our questions out and let Harash.
Every single pattern
I
is
mean,
just
we're talking
perfect.
about it, right?
Every single pattern is almost identical. It's like you copied and pasted it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
You know, you look at this rug. Again, I look at rugs, carpets, and any woven textile from totally different perspective than
Of course you do.
general people do. I look at it and say how this was made, what it takes to do this curve, what it takes to do that color. Talk about color. Now, if you follow that line, you see that most of the Armenian rugs talking about colors. Did you have a question? I don't know, somebody. I keep going.
Yeah, keep
You had a
going.
question?
Yeah,
Keep going.
We can get into
It's-
color. Let's talk about the colors.
I just want to rip this right now.
If you noticed,
It's like, God. There you go.
if you noticed, you know, let's go. Let me see. Where are we?
Well, we're talking about, you know, the messaging in the carpets. So we
messaging
want to go
in the
into
carpets.
the colors, how we got the colors.
Yeah, let's get into-
let's
Let's
get
go
into
to
the colors.
manuscripts. Let's start with manuscripts.
Okay, let's do that.
We are okay. We went to Bazrik. Next to the Bazriks, this one.
Okay.
Okay, this one. What is it? 11th century illuminated manuscript of King Gagi. Now, some people valid question. They say, how do you know at that time? What do you have? Well, the oldest depictions of carpets in our tangible evidences are depicted in the Armenian illuminated
Manuscripts, yeah.
Those are the oldest photos that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Our manuscripts, oldest ones, I don't know if there is an 8th century, but
I think it's the 8th century, 7th or 8th century,
No,
I believe.
I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, 100 years.
They were
100
redone. I believe they were redone sometime in either the 10th or 11th century. But
I'll ask my friend in Armenia who is expert in Levon Chukasozyan, the art director.
Is he watching? We can have him join live.
I hope he's watching.
We can invite him.
Anyway, I'm sure he will ask. He will answer me. If you enlarge this, you see that where they are sitting on the carpet. You see, they're sitting on the carpet. Mind you, all these manuscripts, the dyes were also used. The Armenian cochineal, Vortangarmir. Yeah, Vortangarmir. Contrary to the general belief that it only, as the name implies, it's only red dye. No. Vortangarmir produced many shades, many different colors, depends on the mordant you have used. We're going to get to the Vortangarmir. But if you keep going, you see several facts in these manuscripts that display what the carpet is used for. Then the next one, we have the Milky Queen right under her foot. Again, another carpet. And look at those colors. Again,
if you guys can see this.
Yeah, if you enlarge it, they could see Milky Queen is sitting on a throne. Under her feet is a carpet.
Yeah, right
there. Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me
and
underneath. Yeah.
Now,
is this one?
Yeah, that's another one. And the list goes on and on. Now, these predates the European Renaissance era.
Yeah.
The Renaissance we call it because there was this
an explosion.
The explosion of art. Now, if we follow, we see that at that time, the tradition of carpet usage was not very familiar to Europeans.
No, this is not it.
That's okay. This is.
No, I'm skipping to. Yeah, I think that was a different picture.
It's okay. You can put that.
No,
one.
Here,
that scripture is Marco Polo's handwriting. Marco Polo's.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Pretty cool.
We'll get to that. Okay. If we keep a sequence, you see that there is the Lombardian Madonna and Child. If you compare that with Milky Queen and few other Armenian manuscripts, you'll see the same thing copied. Okay? If you find this one,
that one is...
It's Lombardian.
Yep, there we go.
You see?
Yeah.
Now, if you compare, in both manuscripts, there's a carpet under their foot. Why is that? Carpet under the saint's foot. It separates where she is standing, or he, the saint, from the common area. It's a holy space.
So there was a significance for.
Of course.
Just like you were saying, if somebody prayed to it like it was their sanctuary.
Exactly.
Right? This was a signifier that this individual...
Also, it was a throne.
Okay.
It was separate from the regular common people. It was a saint. It was a king. It was a prince. Okay? And here, the next one, this one.
Let me see. Well,
if you keep going, no.
Hold on. Let me.
Anyway.
I don't think I have that.
No, unfortunately.
Well, you have one of them, but
yeah, I have. Those seem to be like a bunch of them put together. I don't seem to have that.
I have, but
yeah, I don't have one.
That's it right there.
This?
No. Scroll down. That one. We were on that earlier.
Yeah, we were on this one.
No,
earlier.
not that one. Anyway, no.
Yeah, I don't think I have that one.
Well,
Let's see.
Anyway, the one
Yeah, I
that
don't.
no, I thought I sent you. Anyway,
No, it's okay. No problem.
the next one that I made, put that one on. Put
This
that
one?
No,
Yeah.
the one below that. That one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, if anybody does a Google search, maybe later I post it in the comments. In Renaissance era painting, Virgin and Child enthroned, but there is a beautiful painting by Hans Holbein, was made in 1497. He was born in 1497. Anyway, around 1500, it was the illustration of Madonna and Child. She's sitting on the throne, and just like the same posture as that Armenian illuminated manuscript that you see on your screen right now, okay? It's the same thing, but this is a painting, huge Renaissance era painting, and there is a carpet under her foot. Vic, you see that?
I do see
Yeah.
it.
You
Yeah.
see the
yeah.
you see the pattern on her foot, under her feet. Look at the pattern and look at this rug.
It has the same 8. Well,
Look
4
at this
2.
rug. You see this rug?
Yeah,
You see this pattern? And you see this pattern?
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. This rug is an Armenian rug dated 1888. It's sitting here.
Wow.
It's identical. I mean, for generations.
Jesus.
I mean, I didn't expect that. It's like, okay, well, you see this 1880. It's right there. It's there.
Yeah.
It's like
Anyway.
what?
Anyway, and here is a comparison. You see, this is her under her.
Unfortunately, we don't have that picture to share with you guys. So we're kind of going off of what.
Feet. Anyway,
yeah.
I will post
Yeah.
it. I will,
Go follow him on Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah.
I'll send it. Maybe
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can
or-
post it in the
Sure.
YouTube.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
post it.
for
Yeah.
those-
We'll post it, guys.
Anyway, did you get this one? I sent you these.
I don't think I have that. Let me see.
There is another carpet that is the Girapert in another Renaissance painting. As a matter of fact,
I don't
I'll
have.
send these
Next episode.
with all fairness. You
Yeah.
can post it in the comments section in
yeah.
the YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I promise I'll send it to you. I'm sorry. I thought I sent it, but apparently not. Anyway,
It's okay. It was a nice surprise.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's only
we
5 feet
in
away
the-
from us.
In the Armenian Rock Society, there is a art historian. Her name is Lauren Arnold. She's been working on this for many, many years. Lauren Arnold did a thesis. She wrote a book, and she has a series of 7 lectures on YouTube right now. Lauren Arnold did a huge inventory on Renaissance paintings. She pulled out about 300 classic paintings in which it depicts carpets, Armenian carpets under the saint's foot or on the throne, or in the subject matter, carpets are used. And all those carpets were Armenian. Renaissance era. Of course, today they would say Turkish, because
they were.
Anyway, we're not going to go into that.
Yeah.
That's a different subject.
Can we get into the colors, like how they were?
We're going to go to
Yeah.
the colors. I
Yeah.
mean, one thing was, so if you notice, if you keep going, you see that most of those rugs are starting from Basrik. Red background, red background, red background. Where are we now?
Yeah, red. Everything is.
Everything is red background.
Yeah, there was a few over here that we saw.
Yeah.
Scroll down. No, scroll further down.
Okay, right. Anything before the cochineal. You have that cochineal photos there. That's Mother Armenia.
Share that
That's
with our
another
audience.
pictorial. No, keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the next one? Go hard. Next
go
one.
hard.
We jump back and forth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's classic dragon.
As you can tell, I haven't done a PowerPoint for a long time.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's probably 17th or 18th century rug that is combined with vishabs, dragons, and sunburst. Vishabakor, Kiev, Arevasho combined. Anyway, keep going. Red. That's the cochineal. That's the Armenian Vortangarmir.
Yeah.
Okay, which only grows in Araratian.
Which is abundant in the region.
Yeah, abundant. This is a unique insect that lives under the ground, and they feed from the sap of a certain plant, and the liquid in their body is red. Keep going.
And we present it to you
they
in
come
all
up-
of its beauty.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the insect. And in late fall, they surface to mate. When they mate, the male grow wing. They grew wing.
Only the male.
Only the male. And when they mate, the female lays her eggs and she dies.
Oh.
And their lifespan is like 1 year. And from those eggs, larvae comes and they feed on the sap and the cycle continues. And Armenians would go and collect these. And from these insects, not only dyes, they made elixirs.
Wow.
And the recipes for medicinal purpose, for medicinal elixirs, are recorded, and it's in Madenataran. They also women used it as a makeup for their face, for their lips. In fact, my wife Mira has a few bottles of those
Really?
elixirs and the
Don't worry, they're safe.
the
I'm not going to
oil.
use them.
The oil. She has those. She brought some. So
What type of elixir specifically would you happen to know?
health elixirs, they
Sure,
said.
of course. But if
they used it
was
for
there-
various things.
Illnesses or whatever the case is? No?
Yeah, whatever
No?
the cases is.
Wow. So
Unbelievable.
what was the process of how did they extract the color?
Well-
Is it like just smushing them or?
No, first they would put it in metal pots next to the fireplace until they completely dry. Once they dry, they just grind it, becomes like a powder.
Yeah.
And then they mix it. If they mix it with certain percentage of vinegar, it gives certain color. If they mix it with certain types of salt, it gives a certain hue. And they used many different minerals, depends what you're using. Alum, copper, zinc, iron. Each mordant, each mineral would react differently with it and gives a different hue, different color. And we call that mordants, okay? Now imagine at that time, those people had these formulas.
How,
man.
that's what I was going to say. How
I
did
mean,
these people
you're
discover
talking
this?
a
Like,
lab, right?
how did somebody figure this out?
Yeah. Well,
You
again,
know
they're
what I
just
mean?
testing. And it's funny that we talked about Edgar asked us the question is like, how did they, what common ingredients they use to get these, these colors?
Well, we know they had wine.
Yeah.
Okay, when the wine became sour, it became acidic, right?
Yeah.
They figured out what can they do with those vinegar. My wife uses only vinegar and orange peel to do her house cleaning, wiping windows. I don't know where she got that from.
Actually, no.
Orange
My wife does the same thing. I don't know who she heard it from, especially glass, cleaning glass.
Yes.
Shower glass. You know how you have the water spots?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Why
common, right?
distilled vinegar?
Vinegar, orange peel, or even lemon peel.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, it smells, but
One
Whatever.
is acidic
The hell
acid.
with Windex.
yeah.
Yeah, you have citric acid and acidic acid mixed, and they knew all these things, all
Yeah.
these formulas. This is incredible.
Yeah.
We're not so advanced.
Well,
we
but
just have like
here's the thing.
electronic equipment.
Mike,
we're
we
not.
we are in a different way.
Electronically. But with things that were functional on a
Yeah.
daily basis,
Well, we replaced it with Windex.
chemicals that are let's not get into it. Even worse for you than anything, you know.
Don't tell that to that Greek man.
No, I won't. But,
Again, I want to thank everyone who's joining us live on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you guys. You know, this is our second live now with as far as
no.
you know,
We're first outside of our normal compounds.
Yeah, but you know, if you don't know about us, if you're joining us for the first time, this is the Herosner podcast. Our podcast. This is our 17th episode. If you want to hear our past episodes, you can search for us and listen to us on every major podcast platform. We're also on YouTube as well with audio spectrums, and in our lives with the video. We are joined by Hrac here, who is an amazing. I do want to call you an historian because you are a historian.
I made the mistake of saying somewhat.
Yeah.
That was my mistake.
And we're discussing the history of Armenian rugs, rug making, and just pretty much everything that has to do with the Armenian culture, going back 8,000 years.
That's the elixir.
That's the elixir.
Ortangarmir elixir.
Wow.
I don't know how does it show? on
No,
the
you got to
camera?
get a little bit
Gotta get
closer,
closer?
but yeah, just a little bit closer. There you go. Ooh.
Turn it around. There you go.
Yeah, turn it around to the.
Can everybody see it?
And that's the copy from the manuscript that has the formulas. You see, that's a copy of the manuscript
Wow.
in
That's
Madena
amazing.
Karan.
That's some good.
Anyway,
So, Hrac,
do we have time? How much time?
we're about 2 hours in,
Welcome
which
to
is
the
fine.
Herosner's
Don't worry
After
about it.
Hours
No?
podcast.
Don't worry about it. We can go as we have our
People
audience.
are not tired.
No, are you guys tired? Comment if you're tired. We'll end the show. I don't know. It seems like people are enjoying it. So,
Okay. Should we continue or?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
All right, then let's go. Let's go to the colors again. Let's go to the colors again. And I think I passed to you some samples of carpets from different regions of Armenia. If you go to all the way, okay, let's continue from Vortangarmir, right? From here on.
Yeah.
Yeah, from here on.
It's so
Okay.
small.
Yeah,
They're
it's- you
so
see that-
small.
yeah.
They're
and it's
tiny.
just-
I want to share this to
Yeah.
people to see how
Yeah, go
small
ahead.
they are.
Yeah.
They're very similar, but just imagine elongated.
See, people
was
are
that?
saying keep going. So we're going to keep
Okay.
going.
Elongated ladybug. Just imagine elongated ladybug. That's the size. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you keep going, you see that in Armenian tradition, one of the most favorite colors is red.
Red, of
Yeah.
course.
And traditionally, Armenian brides would wear red. Not
Really?
white.
Not white?
Yes. Well, that was our color. It is the color of fire.
Yeah.
It is which
Yeah.
is the essence of life. Okay, red, and no wonder you see all these Armenian. If you keep going, you see samples, different regions of Armenia having
Different rugs.
different rugs with that
Oh,
red, and it goes on and on. And this tradition, by the way, it was when Armenia had this, and dignitaries came to visit. Armenian kings, Armenian princes. The only thing that they were impressed with
Was
was the carpets. They didn't have it, But Armenian kings on their thrones, they had those carpets.
And that's so I wanted to ask you this earlier. It wasn't one of the topics, but you bring it up. So just a quick little side question. So you've told us that a lot of the common folk from different areas made these rugs, right, with their own stories, their own whatever it is, their own dialects. With that, they also must have been commissioned by
that came much later.
Sure,
now,
but
we're talking commissioning. Commissioning is more industrial.
Wrong word. Maybe they were asked to make these rugs for the royalty. No.
Yes, they did. Of course, you don't expect the king or the queen sits down and weave carpets. Although we have a folk story about a prince. While he is hunting, he falls in love with this shepherd girl and talks to her. She doesn't talk to him. He follows her. He finds the house. Then he goes and asks her hand from the father. The girl says, well, you're a prince, but what kind of trade do you have? She says, I'm a prince. I don't have any trade. I don't have to work. She says, no, my husband has to have a trade. Otherwise, I won't marry.
It's a good woman.
He says, okay. He goes and says, okay, I'm going to learn a trade and come back. He goes and comes back with a carpet. He says, I wove this carpet. The girl looks at it and says, okay, I'll marry you. They marry. Years passes. They fall into war. He falls as a slave with the enemy. He convinces the enemies that I can be a good asset. I can weave carpets where you could sell it. So he weaves carpets in his prison cell. They sell it. It's so beautiful. It reaches to the queen because it's such an elaborate carpet. It reaches the queen. The queen looks at it, recognizes the patterns, and secretly, supposedly, the king also drew in the symbols where he is being captured.
Oh, wow.
The queen sends...
What a smart guy, huh?
The queen sends army or some force,
send help
and SOS
send help,
and they rescue him. This is an Armenian folk story.
You know what's funny about this whole? You say it's a folk story, but we've mentioned this before on many of our episodes. We have so many amazing stories. Now it could be true, it could be just a folk story, but these are, people make movies out of stuff like this,
And in fact, there is.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, with our new young generation coming up in the film industry and so forth, even cartoons, like, we need to start getting these stories out there to the masses, to the world, not just Armenians, to the world. Because you see so many other stuff happening with other cultures. It could be Hispanic, you have the new Disney movie that just came out, all this stuff. And we need to start doing this, guys. We need to come together. I know we have amazing executives in Netflix, Disney, Hulu. We need to start coming up and having people write scripts, put together the production, invest, do crowdfunding, whatever it is, to bring these stories to life. Because as he was saying this, I was imagining, can you imagine like a cartoon of this?
Great story.
Great story. And
really
it can relate to so many other cultures because it's a human story.
There's a message in it.
There's a message,
There is a wise message in it. Anyway, by the way, there is one. There is a movie, 3 segments, each 20 minutes, was made for TV, I think. We talked about Gohar rug, and that rug is designated as a Vishabagork, dragon rug. And the cartoon series, those 3 parts, are called Vishabagork. in Armenian, if you go on YouTube and write Vishabagork,
yeah.
those movies come out. Supposedly from an egg, a baby dragon comes out, was rescued by this dog, and it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And then they find a home where the girl is weaving the carpet, and the girl's name is Gohar. The Gohar is weaving a carpet, which is a Vishabagork.
Yeah.
And then the dragon jumps in. Anyway, if you want, I don't want to tell the whole story, but in Armenian, Vishabagork. In Armenian.
There you go, everyone. So
Go to
on YouTube.
Well,
Well, don't leave us yet. Yeah, yeah.
Homework to do after the show.
Yeah, after the show.
the show.
Don't leave.
Yeah, that's there. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're going to be finishing shortly here. Anyway,
But my point was
Yeah.
that
I'm
you said
sorry.
there's that small. But we talk about this a lot. Like I keep pushing this. We have a new generation that's growing up that needs to learn about these stories, and we have a generation that is old enough that is involved in the Hollywood scene, technology, and all this stuff. We need to start telling our stories,
Yeah,
just
these are-
like other cultures.
They're amazing stories.
Yeah.
I mean, look, how many times have you and I made fun of ourselves for making multiple movie references? No joke.
Well, maybe you about yourself. but-
Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, you leave yourself out of this one. But anyway, Tigran episodes,
Yeah.
any of the other stories we've talked about, they almost sound like anything we've ever watched.
Yeah.
A lot of movies, so much. Makes you wonder, did they really pick and choose these? Because, a lot of the people that make these films, they're doing a lot of historical research.
Of course.
Grabbing from here, grabbing from here, grabbing from here. It's not from one specific timeline. You know, what I
Closer to the mic.
mean? One specific timeline.
You're absolutely right, Mike. I totally agree with you, but everybody's saying the same thing. Okay, no one is taking a step to do anything.
Well, we took a
That's
step to
our
do this
dilemma.
podcast, so I
You
think
did.
Yeah,
You
well,
did.
somebody
I
can
wanna-
take the step to do the movies.
Exactly.
And the thing, so.
Or we can join. I mean, I'm open. I'm available. If somebody is willing to do a movie like that, even with the real carpets, if they want to see, it's here. Come talk to us. Let's collaborate.
Yeah.
Let's collaborate. It's not a task one person can do alone.
No, of course not. Absolutely not.
So, everybody's enjoying this. They want us to keep going. Connor just said, I can't fall asleep. This is too good. I can't sleep. Connor, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're in the East Coast or the West Coast.
Where are you from, Connor?
But thank you guys for joining us. Hey, our boys from the Wise Nuts, Arno, Edgard, and even Armand is here. Armand Hopar.
Armand Hopar. Arno.
Thank you guys for
Edgar,
doing this
what's up,
and joining
guys?
us. Appreciate it.
Let's go to the images again.
Yeah, let's go to
The red field carpets of Armenian carpets became so popular. I was telling that when dignitaries visited Armenian royalties, what's the best thing they could give as a gift? Carpets, because they were so impressed. They couldn't lift their eyes from those carpets where the throne was on, or sometimes even to give them that body vidal.
Yeah.
Body
Yeah.
vidal is.
Yeah.
When they came, they would put those carpets in front of them so they would also walk on their level. Understand? So we saw in the manuscript as carpets as throne. If a dignitary came and they want to talk, they have to be on the same level.
Yes.
So they would put that carpet and they would come. And as they would leave, that carpet would be their gift. Now they took that gift to their country, okay, to their palaces. What are they going to do with it? Whatever they learned as a tradition, they're going to use the same thing. So they would put it in their throne. As you see in the manuscripts, in Renaissance manuscripts, in Renaissance paintings, Armenian manuscripts, 10th century, 11th century, and Renaissance paintings, 14th, 15th, 16th century, the paintings are exactly mimicking what in Armenian illuminated manuscripts are.
Yeah.
A carpet on the throne, a carpet on the table. There is another famous Renaissance painting called The Ambassadors. Right, just like this, the carpet was on the table. Armenian carpet on the table.
You know, if I remember as a child in Armenia, especially when we go to like relatives with older folks, like it was normal to have carpet on the table.
Absolutely.
Or carpet on the couch.
Absolutely.
And it felt like I didn't understand that. Like why there was carpet on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Body Vidalis.
Yeah.
Vidalis. I'm giving you the honor.
I mean, again, I'm still nervous. The fact that we are here with a 180-year-old rug.
For anybody that joined us late, the rug that
Guys,
we have all this set up on
So you see this? This
is 180 years old.
and we have drinks.
Anyway, so that tradition was copied from where they received the gift from, right? They did the same thing. Eventually, keep going with the photos.
Right.
Eventually, that tradition became pretty common. From royalties came down to, here is another beautiful carpet. Keep going. I'm just giving you samples of different carpets from different regions of Armenia, and they all depicting, if you see the foundation, they all red. If you keep going, and that tradition continued for ages, okay?
I think they want us to zoom in a little bit here. Let's see.
Yeah, there you go.
If you guys want to see the writings.
Shushi Baba, that's what it says, this one.
Shushi Baba.
Yeah.
Wow.
This rug is in San Francisco. Actually, in Bay Area, in Berkeley. I think that's Garbis's rug. Yeah. Yeah. Go on. I'm just giving you samples of different regions and showing you that almost every Armenian carpet has a red background, and that's the tradition.
Here's another one. Let me for the audience to see. To start.
The sister of this rug is right behind us on the wall.
I was gonna say it looks almost just like this.
Yeah, if you look at this rug behind us, there is an inscription there. It's 1915, and it says,
way over in the corner.
Ais Gabas Imma. This is my carpet. Gabas is in classic Armenian carpet. And by the way, in Armenian, gork. It's not carpet, right?
Yeah.
Gork.
Gork.
Gork is in Hittite.
Really?
In Hittite means a covering cloth. It's a Hittite term.
So we're talking about the carpet behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. So this is from 1915.
That one is 1915. The sister of this
I don't
one.
know if they could see it. They can't probably see it, but on the edge, over there,
Somewhere right up there.
on the little pattern
there,
on the very edge.
Yeah, there are two rugs like this that have exactly the same date, 1915. One of them is here. The other one is housed in Hovhannes Tumanyan's museum in Armenia, in the dining room on the wall, just like this. This is the sister.
Wow. That's amazing.
So again, here we go with that tradition. Oh, this is a saddlebag. Again, they used a red. This saddlebag is right here. It's on that couch. You see that?
Yeah.
There
it is. Yeah,
this saddlebag, 1903, I believe. Yeah.
Should we show the live version instead of the pictures? I mean,
we can't.
I'm a little bit lost right now.
This.
I'm afraid to touch it. But
Here.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna help you. Hold it.
Oh, take off your.
Now,
Let's do this.
Now, if you can bring, okay, let's, since we're at it, go ahead and focus to the center of this saddlebag's star. Focus.
You want me to? Oh, the picture.
The picture. Okay. Can you? Okay, no. Go to the red, the back side.
You mean top here?
Yeah, right there. You see that
focus.
star?
Yeah.
Go. Now, okay, the birds are upside down. Now, if you go the other way, all the way up, go. Now, this is the right side. Okay. Remember, we were saying that the patterns are language. They're saying something. What is this pattern saying, this iconography in the red field?
Well, I mean, I see that it says 1903 here, right?
Okay.
Not that.
Yeah, initials
Yeah.
Yeah.
and 1903. Other
Yeah.
than that,
8 points.
I mean, you have the same thing. You have the V shop, which is the dragon, right?
where is the bishop?
Aren't these it?
Okay, those are actually zoomorphic. If you look carefully, they're V-sharps, but they also are similar to eagles, standing eagles.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Two flanking eagles looking inside, okay, at the eight-pointed stars. The eight-pointed stars, which is Utyun.
Yeah.
Utyun. And the center is the cross, the Christianity.
There it is.
Yeah.
Bahbambi Christone
Let me turn this. Hold on. Let me go back to Mike. If you want to bring it back to close to the camera, so they can kind of see what the audience can see. If you get it closer, yeah, that's the
Lift it further up to the center. Yeah.
yeah. You guys see
Now-
that? Do you see the cross? 1903, the cross and the two eagles.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
two eagles, the two flanking eagles looking inside are protecting the cross, which is eternal. Okay. How do we know eternal? You have that eight-pointed star, Utyun. We talked about the
Yeah.
Utyun. Okay. Now, if you see those two birds or the dragons facing outwards, then they are protecting whatever is they are protecting
Yeah.
from the outer enemies. This symbology actually predates Christianity. This same symbology is used, the same meaning in Khachkars. If you look at the Khachkar, there is the cross, dominating cross, and almost always
in the
on the
middle.
base, you see two flanking birds, and eventually those flanking birds became into like leaf-like forms. And at the base of the cross, almost always you see the not the eight-pointed star, but the eight-winged wheel of eternity.
Yes.
That's also Armenian.
Yes.
Okay? The wheel of eternity, eight-pointed. So, eight-pointed the star or eight-winged wheel of eternity.
Yeah.
Cross. This iconography predates Christianity. The older times it was not the cross yet, but it was the tree of life, the Dohmayin Zar, we call it in Armenian, the tree, family tree, let's say, okay, Dohmayin Zar, flanked by, at that time it was two dragons, there weren't birds, always dragons, either flanking inwards or flanking outwards,
yeah.
protecting,
Yeah.
and over the wheel of eternity.
Yeah.
When we became Christian, those dragons were replaced by doves.
That's what it was.
From predator to prey.
Pray.
Think about the psychological
The
impact.
the significance of that.
Oh,
The
big
symbolic
time.
significance.
The symbolic
Yeah.
significance
Yeah.
and the psychological impact on Armenian people. Anyway, that's we're going good.
Episode 2 or 3.
Yeah. Anyway, coming back to the Redfield rugs. You see how there's so much.
I mean,
in
each
carpets,
rug has
right?
its own
Each story.
Story,
Its own story.
and-
Like you know, again, that's why the symbolism, the significance of the symbolism, likely the eras it came from, like you just mentioned, pre-Christianity, post-Christianity. You know,
Well, most of the patterns
sure. I mean,
have survived, similar to the Armenian folk songs that come to us from pre-Christian era,
yeah,
which thankfully Gomidas was able to record them. That's another dialect, by the way. As we were talking about, in Armenian communication system, it's not only the vocal sounds that we talk. It's not the verbs. It's not the literature. There are many forms of communication. Talking is one. Writing is another. Carpet patterns is another.
of course.
Architecture is another dialect. Armenian songs is another. Armenian music is another.
it's almost
Armenian folk dance. Armenian folk
Oh,
dance. You know,
absolutely.
it's almost everything we did, we somehow figured out a way to tell a story. It doesn't matter, like you said, dancing, art, architecture, whatever it was, we always told a story in what we're doing.
we're saying something.
Yeah, we're
making
giving a statement, a
we're
message, yeah.
sharing a wisdom with whoever is willing to take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, there are folk dances that describe the famous horse of Sasun. Sasnaghr.
Sasuns. Yeah.
It's called Sasnaghr.
Yeah.
The dance called Sasnaghr.
Yeah.
And it's danced by men, and there are no steps taken. They only stand still, and they just go up and down.
Yeah.
They mimic
They kind
how
of
the
like
horse does.
just
Not
kind of
sideways.
No, yeah, it's just like a
Yeah.
like a
And once in a while, one of their right foot goes up and boom, hits the floor.
Yeah.
Just like the horse does
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're describing the Sasnaghr horse.
The horse.
And then there are the songs. There are
Arno has a question. He's asking what did the letters SBV stand for?
okay. S. This is another misconception. Most of the people they talk about the letter S, they resemble it to the Armenian letter D.
Duh.
That stands with there, which means God. No. That has nothing. That symbol predates Christianity, folks.
Yeah.
You want to believe it as it is there, go ahead and believe it. It's the two wing of the Armenian Gerhach. It's the half of the Gerhach. It also means the two opposing forces of the natural elements, earth, wind,
I like
fire,
that.
water.
I like
Yeah.
that.
That's what it means. You see the S symbol all over. Now take that S symbol and copy it. And if it's vertical, the copy make it into a horizontal and put over it, it's a swastika.
It's a
What is the
swastika.
swastika?
It's a sign of peace.
Mike,
Yeah.
in here there is a huge
Mike, take
rug.
off your mic. Go.
I don't know if it's here.
Our beautiful assistant Mike right now.
You see these rugs? No, all the way to the left. These are American Indian. These are not Armenian, American Indian. See if you find that there is a huge rug. Maybe we do that on the other segment, huh? Yeah, it's going to take long.
I mean, the amount of rugs that are here that are
Might as well get familiarized with your inventory.
Mike, let's skip that. We talk about that. Maybe you have the poster I made sometime 4 years ago. I made a poster. Go to the list of the images. Let's talk about this S. Go. There.
which one?
No, go up. There must be a poster that I described the Khanzoresk rug. You don't have that file.
Was it one of the red ones?
Yeah, yeah.
So scroll down. They should be like
me
the
see.
last like 7 or 8
There,
images.
on the left. You just
Yeah.
This
right
one?
there.
Yeah, there we
no,
go.
above that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, above that.
This one right here.
Yeah, there we
Okay.
go.
Yes.
There.
Okay, let me share this with everybody.
Yeah,
so
this is a
yes.
really
Enlarge
cool
it.
image, by the way.
Okay,
There.
there we go.
Go ahead and read it. Now, in the
guys,
center,
there you go.
you see the swastika. You guys, we're not going to go over this. Let's not go over this one by one.
but
Go ahead
anybody-
and do a screenshot.
Yeah, we can share this.
You can
We
share
can share
this.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you
will,
can
we'll share this
this.
on our page.
So when you see on the carpets, there is a single wing. It looks like a hook. And usually it's done on the borders of the rugs. And erroneously in the market, that single hook is called, believe it or not, running dog, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
Again,
it really
it's a
doesn't.
falsification, it's a resemblance, a name given without any meaning into it. Then you see the double wing, which resembled the S, as you said, or the Armenian letter D, which is the two elements. It can be, if it's horizontal, it can be two opposing, earth, wind, or if it's vertical, it can be fire, water.
Fire, water.
That's the 4. And then there is the 8. The 8 is the two opposing forces of each element. The fire has two forces. It can be good or it can be bad. Same thing with other 4 elements.
Yeah.
And the list goes on. So that's what the S's are. We see so many of them. Okay? That's what I hope I answered. I don't believe it's the Armenian letter D. I believe it's the half of the two-winged swastika, the two-wing. There is 4, there is 6, there is 8, there is 12. Armenians have the most variety, various types of swastikas. We call it gerhach. And in this civilization, the earliest form of swastikas found in Armenian petroglyphs in Geramasars,
Before,
which
guys,
18,000 years or
look,
so.
seriously,
Anyway.
I'm assuming everybody knows their history. That the swastika predates by thousands of years
Yeah.
what happened in World War II.
Yeah, it was
get
demonized.
that out of your mind.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
everybody,
Please.
get that out of
Yeah.
your minds. That does not matter.
Okay,
Period.
so before we continue, and I know we're kind of all over the place right now because we, and I want to take some questions from the audience, and they have some amazing questions. By the way, Arno, I'm joking with you. It's not Windex. He asked, how does he handle and care of the rugs so bugs like tets don't get in between them and
Can we cover that next time? I mean, there's we can do a whole thing.
on that?
I could tell you how you can remove each stain.
Listen,
you can do that.
Before anything, let's have him talk about the Armenian Rug Society.
that was my next.
Yeah, let's.
Well,
We
I
know each
haven't
other too
finished
well.
with the
Yeah.
red. Let's conclude.
No, hold on. Before, here's the thing. We have a lot of questions from audiences, and I gotta scroll back to see who's asking what. I really want to mention about the Armenian Rug Society. I really want you to talk about that,
about
and we'll get back into it. So,
Oh my
again.
God, it's 9:30, man.
No, don't worry about the time. It's not the
Forget the
time.
time. Forget the time.
I just want to be able to cover this because this is important. And this is an important society that, from meeting you and talking about it, when we left here, this was about a month ago, it kind of like, I don't know. I was just like,
There was
man,
an
we need
impact.
to do
Yeah,
something.
there
We
was
need
an
to do
impact.
something,
Yeah.
and from what it used to be and what it, so my question to you is, what can you tell us about the organization, its history, accomplishments, and what do you see
goals.
its future?
Yeah, it's goals.
Yeah.
Armenian Rug Society was founded in 1980 by few men that had a vision and they were offended. Why they were offended? Because every single Armenian rock that they knew, some of those founding pillars of Armenian Rock Society were dealers, Armenian dealers that came from a family of carpet making families, and they knew the history, they knew everything, yet in the market, the Armenian rugs were introduced and labeled as Turkish, or at the best, Caucasian. That
Really?
was it. They said, look, even some carpets that had Armenian Gregorian dates and Armenian inscriptions, Turkish, and so on. So they came together, they said, look, we got to do something about this. And one of the founding members was the son of Armenian hero Garo Sassouni. Garo Sassouni was I think he was the Varchabeder, he was the prime minister at the First Republic of Armenia. I believe he was, anyway, and he was a Fedai. His wife was the Armenian Red Cross founder. And Viken Sassouni was his son. He was a real patriot, and he knew the value of conserving and protecting the Armenian culture.
Yeah.
Armenian carpets are major part of the Armenian culture. And they formed Armenian Rock Society. The other guy was James Keshishian, his brother Harold Keshishian, which are the only carpet business that they have, the organization in Washington, D.C. And they were the only one who were allowed to enter White House to care for White House's carpets. Anyway, when they founded that in 1980, first thing they did, they collected all those rugs, carpets, Armenian carpets that have inscriptions, complete, all of them. They said, we're going to print a catalog, we're going to take this collection, and they were antique. By the way, that Gohar carpet was displayed at that time. It was in there, it was borrowed, belonged to a private collection. And they took that collection from museum to museum in many places, all the way to Vienna. And they published a catalog called Kings, Merchants, and Weavers, Armenian Rugs. That was the first publication. Since then, they did many other exhibits. Until 1990, there was another conference, symposium, and exhibit in Memphis, Tennessee. At that exhibit, all those founders were already pretty old. Viken Sassouni had already passed away. There was no young generation left there. And Mark Keshishian said, he called me Cozy. My last name's...
It seems fitting.
That's what he called me. He said, listen, we're getting old. In Washington, D.C., that's where was the headquarters. He said, we're not going to be able to continue this. You have to take the society to West Coast. At that meeting, the majority of Californians that were there were from the Bay Area. Joseph Bezjian, Garbitz Baghdasaryan, and one of the founders of the Armenian Rock Society, Lemiel Amirian's daughter, Lorraine, was there. So there were four over there, and there was only one from Southern California, that was me. So we said, look, we can take it to San Francisco. So it was, headquarters were moved in 1990s to San Francisco. From 1990 to 1914 was housed for 2000. Yeah, 2014, I'm sorry.
I was going to say,
What did I say?
Hold on.
we were back 1914. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 2014. That's what you meant. Yeah.
I'm getting tired. I think.
Well,
Anyway.
it's 9:30, but
But, you know-
they told us to tell you it's only 8 p.m. So
Oh,
Are they
anyway.
watching from like
Anyway,
Connor doesn't want us to end. Abiding in truth. I don't know your name, but thank you. He said it's only 8 p.m. So
anyway,
keep going.
Since then we did a huge exhibit and another publication in San Francisco called Passages, another catalog. But during all this time, we were also focused on Armenia. Since Armenia became independent from 1992, we want to bring back the old tradition of Armenian carpet making, the traditional way, back into the Armenian culture. Because when Armenia became Sovietized, that tradition ceased to exist practically. The communists, during the communist era, it was illegal to do private business, and they collected all those weavers. They said, if you want to do weaving, you have to come to the workshop and work from here.
Yeah.
So they were producing from 100 to 150.
they were like designated areas.
Yes,
basically.
factories,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's called
yeah.
High Gorg.
Yeah.
There were branches all over Armenia, in
Yeah.
Ijevan, in Yerevan, all over, and they were factories. And the women, they were not free to weave as they felt, as the traditional. This is what I collect here. I collect everything that are pre-Soviet era. Why? Because the execution of the patterns are so free. It's not confined.
Yeah,
And it's not like mechanical, like a robot.
Communism.
Homogenic.
Communism.
Exactly. And what they did, they produced almost like a mass production.
Yeah.
And really ugly, has no soul. Wrong colors, wrong carpet composition, totally wrong. Anyway, so in order to revive the old tradition, Armenian Rock Society concentrated in Armenia. We did so many publications from Armenia. We also started we initiated a program with one of the members who was the vice president of Armenian Right Society, Levon Derbedrosyan, in Armenia. He opened a boutique hotel / museum / restaurant.
Wait, did you say Levon Terbetrus?
Yeah.
Yes, has nothing to do with the
Oh, okay.
former
Not that one.
president.
Okay. No,
I
I'm
figured
just-
it wasn't him. I figured it wasn't him.
I just want to clarify
Yeah,
that.
yeah, thank you.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
not
all
the
it is.
president. No.
Okay.
But Levon, my friend, our former vice president, is a beautiful
Okay.
soul, beautiful heart. Anyway, with him in Armenia and with the support of Armenian Rock Society, we started a program called Adopt a Loom. What we did, we trained like 4 to 8 girls to learn the fundamentals of carpet weaving the traditional way. We provided small looms, and we provide the necessary materials for these girls to go from village to village, different parts of Armenia, the remote villages, and teach the kids how to weave the traditional way. So that program was called Adopt a Loom. I have some samples right there, Mira. Right there, we have.
Oh, the small ones.
Yeah. For example, we tell them, them how to draw. Now this is that red deer of Armenian highland. This is a depiction on a port on a. This is a deer that is depicted on Jairabatker on petroglyph. Okay.
Mike, you're blacking my view. No, it's
Yeah, these are.
Boy, you're a picky guy, bro.
Yeah, these are. Yeah. No, upside
no,
down.
upside down. The other way.
Upside
The
down.
other way. The other way.
No, the other way.
Flip it. There you go.
Yeah, this is, if you come back, it says, this is for the adopter-loom. These are small rugs that were woven by those children that they learned how to weave. So that's the program. That's what we do.
Okay.
And the funds, the members, the board of directors, everybody in the Armenian Rug Society, we are volunteers. We don't get paid.
Yeah.
In fact, it costs us a lot of money
You know,
to be members.
if I can add to that, listen, nothing. Yeah, thank you.
Can I have a chocolate? Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm
I
also the
swear to
host.
God, this is
I also want some wine, if you don't
this
mind.
is awesome. Mike is so wow. You know, here's the thing. A lot of people, when you do something, and for example, this podcast, we have friends who do other podcasts. Wise Nuts, I always got to give a shout out to them. You know, people, when you do something, it's not always about money. It is about, a cause. People think that, like you said, the Rug Society or whatever we do or other people, it is not just about making profit. It is about educating. It is about, helping people out. So that's what really frustrates me most of the time, that every time, and it's a big problem in our culture. Every time we do something, automatically people are like, oh, they're making money somehow. And this is what needs to change. Like you said, you put your own money into it, right? Your expenses to make this happen, to teach the children this and that. And this is what we need to keep concentrating on, is making sure that we continue to do this. Whatever, platform it is, podcast, rug, whatever. That's my opinion. So,
There is a Armenian saying. It says, "Mahը մերն է, մենք մահինը մարդու կորձն է միշտ անմահ." The death belongs to us, and we belong to death. The work that we leave behind is immortal. After all, how a person becomes immortal?
really frustrates me most
of the Whoa. Time
The,
I'm trying to share it to Armenia.
a person becomes immortal if after he passes, after he's gone, his name or his life gets celebrated for many years to come. As long as you remember that person is not dead in your mind.
Oh yeah, I believe in that.
So,
yeah.
So what am I saying? The work that we leave behind, that's how people remember us. I don't know. Some materialistic people might think that way. Or if they say that, hey, I wonder how much money he's getting by doing this. Probably in their mind, that's what would they do. But don't judge. Yeah. Everybody doesn't think that way. I don't drive a luxurious car. I much rather drive a used. I buy a 5-year-old car. The rest of the money, I much rather invest and save carpets that our ancestors wove that are stopped in 1918, 1920s, early 30s. Ceased to exist, this craft, which was among us for millennia.
Haraj, there's rugs in there that probably have 5 times more value than any Mercedes on this planet.
Yes.
That's it.
Right there in that
That's all I
corner,
gotta
there's
say.
a white canvas. You see that white canvas, the tallest rug? That's a 17th century dragon rug. Half of it. I paid arm and a leg to save that, and I bought it from a Turk, by the way.
speaking of that, and I'm going to take your question away, and I want to, like, how can a non-professional, someone like regular folks like us, our audience, identify original Armenian carpets or rugs? So what should we
would
look
we
for?
look for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here is the thing. I get that question a lot, by the way. A lot. We discussed this. Armenian carpets are monumental. They're not ornamental. When we talk about Armenian rugs, when we say Armenian rug,
They're not just
we
for
don't-
design.
well,
Somewhat.
somewhat. A professional can tell by looking at the techniques, the weaves, the knots, how it's tied, what kind of weft is used. There is a feel. Believe it or not, every rug has a soul. Then it talks to me. You have a wine connoisseur. Without seeing the bottle, sips and tells you 1991.
Yeah.
Claude Dubois, whatever.
Yeah.
There's that, but also there is if we're gonna make it easy, consider almost all geometric geometric patterns that are abstract. The birthplace was Armenia. Probably later on, other cultures adopted that and mimicked that or altered that and came up. But Armenians almost always used those geometric patterns that meant something to them, that they were abstract symbology. Okay, that's one of the main things.
Which is the
eight.
the eight, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
the 8, the 4, the 2,
The two, yeah.
The
the
multiples
power
of
of
two.
two.
Yeah.
Right, those. But that doesn't mean every single rug you see out there that are for sale in IKEA or somewhere else that has those, you'd say, oh, Armenian.
Yeah.
It could be Pakistani or Chinese or, you know,
Which they've
Yeah,
copied,
mimicking-
basically.
yeah, mimicking.
yeah,
look, yeah.
as similar to other contributions that Armenian culture gave to the world, this was another one.
Yeah.
But what I collect, and that's another question, what's the collectible? Well, to me, collectible is the ones that were made for their own use, not for commercial purpose.
Now, typically, is that what you look to find? And when you do trace these things, how do you trace these things? You know,
Well-
like what's the first thing you look for when, let's say you want to find a rug that, let's say, is 150, 200 years old, or you find out that there's an individual or individuals that may have purchased it at some date and it got passed along, because these things probably changed hands so many times.
Okay.
Where does your investigation begin?
In carpet industry, the news travels very fast.
Okay.
Okay? And believe me, those dealers, for every collector, there are probably 100 dealers that are willing to sell something to that collector.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's a very big asset to know a collector that buys certain things. You go to Istanbul, to the bazaar, iterate my name, they know me. You go to Yerevan, go to that vernissage, or any carpet store. Tell them, we know each other, and we know who likes what, and they know what I buy. From France, from a Persian guy, I purchased the oldest, maybe the only existing Shushi pure silk rug that is inscribed and dated 1886. I never seen another one like it. This guy, I never met him. He finds me, he says, look what I have, you want this? Of course I want it. So it's a small world, but it's
With a lot of information
a
floating
lot
around.
of information
Yeah.
going around.
Yeah.
Lot.
Yeah.
That's how. And do I sell them eventually? Well, yes. When I sell them, if I have a rug and I find another one that is similar, I don't let it just go.
Yeah.
I have people that also collectors that they don't have one like that. I'll tell them, look, I got one. You want this? You better take this. And I sell to immediate friends. Usually.
Yeah.
That's what Armenian society
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, yeah.
We sell in
Internally.
case-
Internally, yeah.
What if there is an exhibit we're going to organize and we need that specific rug?
Well,
They provide it. And in our catalogs, we always give credit from
To the owner. Yeah. Whoever the owner is, yeah, or the purchaser, yeah.
So going back to Armenian Rug Society again, since 2014, the headquarters was moved here to LA. I was the president. Georg Nazarian became the secretary, by the way.
Wait, what? I didn't even know that.
our
Hold on,
great
really?
friend Gevorg.
Wait, what are you guys holding out on me for? Really? Gevorg's the secretary of this?
Yeah, he was the secretary, and we were publishing.
Hi, Gevorg.
We were publishing. Actually, Gevorg was publishing a newsletter. We had a newsletter, and we would send it via snail mail.
Snail mail.
Yeah,
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
hard copy of newsletters about Armenian rugs. But Gevorg left to Armenia to get his doctorate.
Yeah.
He stayed there. I have few helpers here, but I don't have any professionals. So right now, other members, they got really retired. Some of them from Midwest and East Coast passed away. We need people. We need young generation. We need writers.
Yeah. Those of you,
People,
our audience,
does anyone want to help?
Well,
if you want to join, help. By the
there
way, Haraj, I want to say Hilda Avanesian says, hello, Haraj. We love you, Harry and Hilda. I'm assuming they're friends of yours.
Hilda. Oh, hi Hilda. Hi Harry. Harry is Kevorkian. Hilda is Ovanesian. Yeah.
No, before we continue, I mean, we are almost hitting our 3-hour mark.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but I want to take some questions. So anybody in the
let's
audience,
go to questions.
if you guys have questions in the audience, please type it right now. We'll go ahead and read it for Haraj, and he can answer them for you. Obviously, we kind of had a structure,
Yeah,
but
but whatever.
It doesn't matter. We're it's all about
Whatever. It's a
talking about the
conversation.
topic. It's a
It's a
conversation.
conversation.
These are what live shows are about, and we covered a lot. So any of you who have questions, please go ahead and ask right now. Trying to scroll back. Oh, you know what? There was a question someone asked, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to scroll that far back. But any connection with our weaving patterns with Native Americans?
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't send you that image.
That's a great question.
There is a small. Okay. See.
I don't know which image that is, but I don't think I have it.
Okay. Up until 1870s, Native Americans wove carpets. Only color differences were in different colors in horizontal lines. There were no other patterns.
Okay.
We designate those types as first phase. The Native American carpets went through 3 different phases. The first phase was all those Native American rugs that has only horizontal lines. The second phase is when they discovered the technique how to weave vertical lines with separate colors without any slit. I'm talking highly technical now
Yeah.
in weave. Okay. The third phase, they discovered how to make an angle color separation. Once you can combine the horizontal, vertical, and angular line, you can come up with any pattern you want. At that time, in 1880s, during the Victorian era, carpets was really popular in the West. And that coincided with Hamidian massacres, and Armenian dealers, merchants, started coming to America and bringing those carpets and selling them. At that time, almost all carpet dealers were Armenians.
Okay.
And there was not enough supply for the high demand. There was James B. Moore, fur trader, actually, who really worked with the Native Americans. He would trade fur for that. Then he noticed that there is this high demand for carpets with geometric patterns, and he knew what the Native Americans would weave. He took an Armenian rug, took it to the native Navajo tribe, said, if you can do this pattern, I trade you anything you can do. After few tests, they made one. So he took the Armenian carpet, the Native American woman hold the other carpet. They made a photo, they made that into a pamphlet, and they started marketing. That was the beginning of the southwestern pattern that we see now in New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, all those places.
Oh my God.
All these Native American patterns are influenced from Armenian carpets. They were mimicking, they were copying what was popular back then. And I have a copy. On our next segment, I'll send you the file. You can see it.
Yeah, we could get into that.
I have a copy.
Yeah,
I have a copy of it. I can even provide some samples. I have a rug that is a huge swastika. We'll talk about that. So yes, southwestern pattern is highly influenced by Armenian carpets.
There you go, Connor. That hopefully that answers your question.
Wow.
That was what Connor was asking, was, the whole patterns they're introducing to the Native Indians. Edgar, I think we answered this question. Edgar was asking, what are some of the ingredients used to make these colors? I think we covered that already, which was...
the red, unfortunately, mid-19th century, the Vortangarmir became almost extinct because those areas that Vortangarmir, Armenian cochineal was growing, not only end up in Turkey, also they became pasture lands.
Yeah. Oh, like protected?
Pasture lands for the cows to graze.
Yeah, okay.
And it declined tremendously. But recently, again, Levon Derbedrosyan purchased a huge parcel, and also the government made that area designated for the Vortangarmir to come back. But since it went down, for the red Armenians use the root of a plant called madder. There is a plant that has a root that has also a red sap. We extract the dye from it. All these you see is extracted from madder plant. In Armenian they call it doron. Doroni armad. So those are the reds. The saffron is the yellow, or the antaram. There is a wildflowers, pomegranate skin.
Really, they use that?
Oh yeah,
really?
Anyway, from army green to dark brown, pomegranate skin, walnut husk, onion skin.
Onion skin. I mean, you know what? Easter time. A lot of people don't know. Like the red onion, the peel of it That's what a lot of people. My mom, that's what she uses to dye the eggs with.
So all natural dyes are the local plants from local Armenian plants. In fact, Armenia has 275 indigenous plants in Armenian highland that grows nowhere else, that have highly medicinal values, and currently there are companies from the United States doing studies in those plants. Anyway, that's another subject.
Yeah.
Haraj,
Yes.
we have Sona Hovsepian asking. She says, "Hello, Haraj. What is something specific about rugs from Artsakh?"
I don't know what she means.
I think she's asking, like, is there a certain pattern
is there
or
something different from rugs that are made from the Artsakh region throughout history than anywhere else?
No, we already discussed that. All Armenian rugs are speaking the same language in a different dialect.
Yeah.
The characteristics are different. For example, let's say in Artsakh rugs, almost all Artsakh rugs, if you flip the back, look at the weave, it has a ridge. In other words, to make I have to talk this technical.
Sure.
The double loop that Armenians do, that double loops, one of them is high, one of them is low.
So the technique's a little bit
The
different.
technique
Yeah.
differs.
Yeah.
They also, the side cord selvage, Artsakh carpets, almost all of them are either 2 or 3 cords. Now, different regions, for example, Lori is only 1, or further south is different. So those are the minor details that the highly trained eye can only tell the difference. And that's how we tell. Recently, I offered a recognition. I said, post your rug. I'll tell you how old it is and where it's from.
Well,
post a picture.
You know, we have a question.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
It's asking, will Haraj consider starting an Armenian rug history classes?
I've done
I don't know
that
who's funding
from
this, but-
1990, from 1990 to 1999, there is a local here, Northridge University.
This is Josefina, by the way, asking this
Sisan,
question.
yeah.
There is an Armenian studies. So I was the only one who introduced the course.
Yeah.
For 9 years, I lectured. I did that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, if I get enough help, we do these kind of segments. We do it, virtual classes. We
Guys,
can do that.
if anybody's been touched or is interested in helping in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah, by
reach
the way,
out. Seriously, reach out.
You can find Haraj on his Facebook.
I can also plug in our website.
Yeah, absolutely.
ArmenianRugSociety.org.
Do it. Yeah.
ArmenianRugsSociety.org.
We're not sponsored by anybody, so you can plug
we're-
whatever you
we're-
want.
yeah, we're not.
And then
This
if
is not
you
a
go
paid
to the
program.
last file, it's our logo. The last file that I sent, I think it's the last one.
Which one?
Yeah, very Verchina. All the way.
There
we go.
This
Boom.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Give me a second, guys. I will share this with all of you.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And
Now, if you type this,
There you go.
ArmenianRugsSociety.org, it can be .com, whatever.
It'll pull it up.
It will pull it up.
It will pull it up.
Just Google Armenian Rug Society.
yeah, you'll find it.
You'll find it.
Haraj,
And
we
you
have
can
a
contact me through there.
so you can again Facebook. Just reach out to Haraj. Just search for him for his name. Or
He is a very friendly human being, guys.
Yeah. So we have a
Very.
question from, let's see here, from Caroline Talar. She's asking connection between komitas and carpets.
That
We kind of covered it.
Carol, Carol, you touched my soft spot.
Yeah.
My favorite hero. Unfortunately, if there is an Armenian saint, I'll designate Gomidas. Gomidas revived and told us who Armenian people are. Until what Gomidas did, the only so-called history of Armenia or Armenian history, what we knew was about kings, queens, wars, and church. We didn't know anything about the layman, the regular people, the people that really made what Armenian culture is until Gomidas, through his recording of the songs, which are the songs that really tell the story of Armenian people. Gomidas, when he was, after the massacres, when he passed away, he was almost mute. He didn't talk for quite some time. Then as soon as he came back to life, the first question he said, "Where is my rugs and my where are my carpets?
I love it.
And my notes? What happened to my carpets and my notes?" Gomidas knew exactly the value of Armenian folk art.
Yeah.
He was the people man, actually. He didn't care about the royalty and all that. He was after people. And he was born in Kütahya. His mother was a carpet weaver. His mother had a carpet, which Gomidas always had it with him all his life. In fact, there are several paintings, Gomidas laying under a tree on the carpet. That's his mother's carpet. And that carpet, if you ever go to Armenia, is housed in Gomidas Museum in Yerevan. Go see it. I did a post on that. I did post that, by the way, on my Facebook. I'll post it again. Gomidas, not only Armenian carpets, he always followed the folk art. The folk art is the genuine mirror of how people lived, what people, the regular people are. The fine art, anybody can go to 7 years to study and become an artist.
And with any culture.
With any culture.
It's the same thing, you're
and
right.
That's formed.
Yeah.
But folk art that you learned from your grandmother, and she learned from her mother and grandmother, and passed from generation to generation. Those women that didn't know how to read and write, and they wove these fabulous carpets. They knew how to compose patterns that are so harmonious and put together 12 colors. Try to wear something with 3 colors, you become a clown. How did these women coordinate those 12 colors to make into this fantastic piece of art that speaks to you, that radiates energy to you?
Yeah.
Really?
You can't even look at artwork these days or paintings that have more than 3 or 4 colors. That's it. Like, you can't.
I hope I answered your question, Carol. I'm sorry I get carried away.
Very passionate way.
But you hit a soft spot.
Next question I have from, let's see here, Guyana. It says, hello, Mr. Raj. Like in fairy tales of Anahid, are there some Armenian carpets with hidden messages weaved in them you've encountered?
Yes, every single one of them. But every single rug has a secret message in it if we can read it. Unfortunately, we lost that. This dialect of our language, of rich Armenian language, had many dialects. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. And believe me, 40 years of research is not enough. It takes probably generations. I need people from younger generation to take the torch from my hand and carry it to the second and third generation.
By the way, I want to mention that Josefina is volunteering to help you.
Where does she? Anyway, contact me.
Yeah, Josefina, Facebook. contact Herach.
Connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please. I love it. He gets so excited.
And I believe there's also Asrik Kamalian, who is
Asrik Kamalian is a singer.
She's talking about a Armenian children's, or is it Armenian children's writer with a book about Armenian carpets coming. So she wants to reach out to you about that. So I'm not sure what that is, but reach out to Herach directly. I'm just reading all the comments. So Josefina,
Find me on Facebook. That's the best way. I don't have.
Here's a good question. Is the color here? Let me bring this up to the screen. It says, "Is the color green exclusive to Armenian weave versus neighboring Muslim weavers?"
No, not exclusive. Green is general. Green, all by itself, derived from pomegranate. Pomegranate skin is not that pistachio, that strong green. It's kind of dull, more like a military green. But the true that
like an olive
maybe? Green,
yeah.
But the Islamic green, that true green, is actually derived from indigo and saffron, two colors mixed. Yeah, it's not exclusive to Armenians.
Okay, so there goes. I hope that that answers your question. Josefina has. She wants to know is what is your favorite rug?
If you have brothers and sisters, ask your mother who's her favorite child.
Morat Kapav.
It's a good way to respond to it, though.
I love it.
It really is. It's an amazing way to respond to it.
Straight to the mom.
How do you say no to all of this?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a story.
As we said. Yeah. Each piece from each region represents a bit of pieces of our culture.
Yeah, about history, about our culture,
All together do something. I alone cannot do. One carpet alone doesn't do anything. I need people, Armenians are in all over the world. In any diasporan community, believe it or not, they wove rugs. You see, this rug was woven here in 1920s in United States.
Oh yeah,
by an orphan, and it's dedicated to the.
We're going to talk about this. Yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah,
in
but
the
what
future.
I'm saying is,
turn the camera around really quick so they could see it.
But you can turn it around, or you can show the book.
Turn the thing around.
You can show the book if you like.
If you guys see that right there.
You guys see it?
Mira, there's the book here. It's published.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
I mean, look, it looks like there's a George Washington right in the middle.
Yeah. So, while this is happening, I'm going to free flow here. We're bringing out some amazing artifacts and
we're
samples.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
That's what's on the wall, guys. Yeah.
Said Malhasyan.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go.
Yeah. Baba.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Mira, would you?
Cameraman, server, rug boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was saying, the Armenian culture is so rich. You cannot really, just like the carpet. Armenian carpet represents the Armenian culture in its totality. You're not looking at a single line or a single color. Yeah. You have many lines that form something with many different colors. That's what we are. Your talent, his talent, the young generation, diasporan people from different communities of diaspora. We each represent one thing in this carpet.
Yeah.
We all together, it takes the effort of all of us to make this carpet. That's how it is.
Yeah.
I alone, I cannot do anything. I can
None
offer.
Of us can.
It's almost like the same saying, it takes a village,
It takes a village, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Josephine says, tell him it's Josefina from AJB. Not sure what that means.
Okay. Okay, I know who is Josefina. Hi, Josefina.
All right.
Hi.
Somebody
What's
makes
the
this.
question?
I don't. Let's see. What's the next question here? Are the 8 pointed symbols on the carpets exclusive Armenian?
All right. I think we addressed that.
Yeah, we addressed that, but just in
said-
case, yeah.
Okay, we said
Albert
ut.
Ohanyan is asking that
Albert-
question.
Yes. Albert, you know that the suffix utyun only makes sense in Armenian
yeah.
language.
Yeah.
Utyun. And if we go to the same concept, utyun or haverjutyun, eternity, eternal,
How to tune? I mean,
Anything.
any
Anything.
verb
Anything,
add
yeah.
utyun.
Yeah,
Take
any
any,
word.
Yeah.
verb, add utyun.
Yeah.
And that's it. And one of the symbols of haverjutyun is on petroglyphs, which is the swastika. Now find me anything older than that reflects the 8-pointed star or the 8 or utyun. Go ahead and find me.
does that answer your question, Albert?
Confidently.
Let's see. Thank you. We're getting a lot of praises saying thank you. Wow. Great answer. We have Connor. Connor, are you Armenian? Because Connor Anderson, this podcast is spectacular. Thank you. Andersonian? I don't know. I think he's just
Andersonian?
using an alias. Diana Hovanisian says, Herosner Barev, thank you for the great
Diana,
talk.
I love you. She's one of my students from Armenia.
Diana, we love you because Harash loves you.
Yes, Diana, կրգում եմ քեզ, գարոցած եմ շատ. Diana is the girl who came from Armenia to weave the silk rug, and we did a ceremony on our next segment, I'll tell you.
Okay.
The rug cutting ceremony. Diana Bachikner, կրգում եմ համբույրներ.
We have
That's so
Viken
cool.
Babkenyan, Viken Babkenyan, my eyes, I need glasses, is saying Harach's passion is radiating all the way to Australia. We got some Aussies in here. All right.
Ozzy.
What's his? Popkin?
Viken Babkenyan, yeah.
Hi, Viken. I miss you. Viken was here.
Oh, you know
visit
him?
us. I know him.
Awesome, awesome.
He's an author. He's an author and great guy.
Amazing.
Great guy. He's an independent researcher who did a lot of discoveries how Australia was involved with Armenian genocide and so forth, so on. Look for his last name and do a Google search. Look up for his for his books.
I think we just have the next episode.
Yeah, Viken is definitely
Yeah.
Viken, you need to.
That's an interesting topic.
yeah.
Viken, you
that's
need
an
to reach out
interesting
to us.
topic.
Yeah. Med Herosner,
Yeah.
pod at
Please.
Med Herosner. Reach out to us.
Please reach out to us.
Let's see what else. I'm trying to go through. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to go through all the comments.
If we miss anything, I'll write it.
Diana says, yes, Harash John, me too. Miss you very much. Let's see here. How often did Armenians use salt bags? This is...
We're going. You know what, Mira? Do we have a salt bag here? Right there. There's one.
Oh,
Salt bag.
is that what that is?
Yeah. Salt, by the way, there are many minerals. What's his name?
Vic, what's her or his name?
Oh, this is... you know what? They
Who's
don't have
asking the
They don't
salt
have
bag?
a
Is it just an
name. It
alias?
just says... It's an alias. It says SSZ. So
Okay.
I don't know who...
Okay.
If you want to share
SSZ.
your name, SSZ, I don't know who you are.
By the way, in the mineral count, in Hagarako, it looks like a bottle.
Yeah.
It does. They used salt bags always woven from lamb's wool. Why? because lamb's wool is by its nature an insulator. It doesn't allow humidity go through it. It absorbs itself and the salt stays dry. And you cannot find another culture besides Armenian culture that has, if you've seen those other,
My beautiful assistant.
if you've seen those other salt containers that look like made of clay. Okay, what I want to say is the edible salt, the table salt, is originally also called Armenian salt, by the way. And if you look in our etymology, in our languages, look for the term ag. And all those words that are that have the suffix or the prefix with the syllable ag, or it can be also the g sound. Eventually, in Latin, was replaced by l, ag or al or sal. So ag originally was used by Armenians, and it was so valuable, by the way, al or ag or sal eventually became so valuable that people were using as a bartering object.
Yeah.
Hence the name salary.
Wait, what?
Really? Yeah, we can go on. Yeah. Al sal salary. People were being paid by sacks of salt for their wage. Hence the term salary.
Salary.
Yeah, we have many Armenian, and look in the etymology. That itself, it can take about 4 hours of podcast just about the Armenian.
Well, we're pretty close. We're 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
so
etymology is a very fascinating topic from where certain words come from and how they're derived.
There's a history.
Oh, absolutely there is. Absolutely.
Let's see. You gonna keep going? I mean, people are asking questions.
There are questions.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
We have a question from Josephine again, saying, "Has the Armenian eternity sign been used in rugs?"
It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all over. Every single one has.
Just a different form.
And different form. By the way, Josephine, the only so many variations of the eternity sign you see, it's in Armenian culture. Indians use it, Tibetans use it, Chinese use it. They all use it. But only Armenians have so many different variety of them. And continuously have been used in Armenia from petroglyphs from prehistoric time until today. It's the only sign that used continuously from prehistoric times, from petroglyphs until today. The Armenian eternity sign.
Let that sink in, guys.
Yeah, if that doesn't
Yeah.
if that doesn't tell you that, you know.
I mean, we're getting some praises. Stephanie, who is saying he is so informative, I could listen to him all night.
Well, we've got more episodes coming with him.
Follow. Believe me, folks, these guys are doing great work, and they're getting out of their way to do this. You know what, Mike?
We're not making any money of this, guys. This is awesome.
Go to their website, order some of their beautiful sculptures. You know, you will be helping for future podcasts like the one what we're doing.
Man.
Really, I received a gift from them, and I'm so honored. I'm humbled.
Thank you
They
for
have
taking
beautiful
the gift.
those Armenian heroes statues. Go ahead and order. Believe me, every one of them is numbered, and it's part of our history.
Yeah,
part of our history. And every time you look at that statue, remember this episode and what you are contributing to.
I know it seems like I'm not paying. I'm trying to monitor all the comments and pay attention to everybody. We have Nina. Let's see. Let's put her comment up on the screen. Nina Minasian asking, could you please talk about the Pazirik carpet? Is that pronounced right?
Lena Minasian?
Yeah, Nina Minasian.
Nina Minasian, is she Nina Minasian?
Apparently, I don't know. Nina, are you guys know her?
Okay, anyway, I might know her. Anyway,
Okay,
what's the question again?
She's asking, can you please talk about the Pazirik carpet? Is that...
We talked the Bazrik rug.
Bazrik? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not-
Bazrik rug.
Yeah.
We talked about it so much. If there is a specific question about the Bazrik rug, go ahead and ask me and I'll answer. But we did cover. We talked like half an hour
Okay,
about it.
so Nina John, please
Yeah,
rewind back
rewind,
or
yeah,
watch it
yeah.
again.
We talked about
cover
it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up if there were all the comments, but we're about 3.5 hours in. I know everybody wants us to continue.
Let's do another segment. You guys are tired.
Look.
No.
Let's do this.
I can go all day, all night. I can go. This is my...
Listen, why don't we do this? If a lot of the viewers and even people who are going to watch this on recorded audio or recorded video ask us questions, send us questions,
Yeah.
we'll make sure we get this answered for you.
Yeah. So I want to
Great
mention that.
idea, Mike. I agree.
Okay,
You know
so
what?
I just put it up on the screen. Guys, we have a lot of people who reach out to us through our podcast, and the email is pod@medherosner.com. You have questions, send it to us. What we do is if we can answer the question for you, we do directly. If not, we contact
the historian, the professional and whatnot.
It's Gevorg or Vahan or anybody else that we work with. In this case, it would be Hiraj. So we will answer the question for you directly. So don't be shy. You can
Please.
also contact us through Instagram, which is at medherosner. Even on Facebook. Again, we respond right away.
We're friendly.
Yeah,
guys.
we're friendly. We don't bite. So reach out
Just
to us.
ask questions. We will get you the questions. Seriously, anytime, about any topic we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I mean, you know,
And order few statues, please.
you know, speaking of the statues, I'm glad you're plugging us, but I want to let everybody know that again, we donate a portion of these statues to miasin.org. And we have so many amazing things coming up. I can't even announce them right now because it's so premature, but the things that are coming up we are going to be doing in Armenia this coming summer, hopefully, if everything works out. You guys are going to be, and I hope everybody can join us. But there's a lot of stuff happening, and what we do is, this isn't about, you know, the sculptures that we sell. This isn't about money.
It's about our culture, guys. It's about our heritage.
I am blessed with what I do in my personal life, and as Mike, what we do with these sculptures, every penny that comes in, besides donating to miasin.org, we put it back into the projects that we're working on. So go ahead, go to medherosner.com and get those sculptures. We're going to be doing our yearly end payout to miasin.org. If you guys don't know about miasin.org, they help out. They basically help all the soldiers from the war, the displaced families. Besides that, they also work with
helping out the families.
The families. Yeah. They also help with, I forget the other organization they work with. I apologize, but all the equipment for the soldiers that are on the border of Armenia and so-called Azerbaijan now. But you know, so there's a lot involved. And again, Hiraj, thank you for plugging us. We usually do it at the end of the show.
This is something usually you guys don't talk about, but here,
we don't.
That's what's making this possible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Really. Sometimes we don't, but that's what this is making possible.
Couple of things I want to mention. So as far as, like I said, this is kind of like a general coverage we did of the Armenian rugs. Next time we have a live, which will be probably sometime in January or February, depending on how all of our schedules work. The second portion of this will cover a lot more, get more into the
Different
nitty gritty,
topics. Yeah,
different topics.
I know. Just as a little, I guess, call it a little teaser. I know when me and Vic have talked to Harach in previous times, he's told us a lot of unbelievable stories.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
stories.
like I said, we can go on for hours. I mean, this man is just amazing. So I do want to mention that our next live show will be January 13th in the new year, 2022. And that will be season 2. So we're going to end the year with season 1. And again, the live will be with Dr. Joseph Sarkisian, who Harach introduced us, who is a historical coin collector. He's a historian as well. Yeah. We'll be discussing, metallurgy and in the Armenian history, right? As far as the different types of coins and
the way the carpets tell Armenian history, the coins. The numismatics tell a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and thank you,
Joseph.
And thank you for introducing us.
For making that
I consult with him too. You know, in many aspects.
Yeah. Another thing we both Mike and I are talking about, possibly end of the month, doing like just a live show with our fans, sort of like a Q&A, and just having a fun night.
Please don't leave us alone.
We want to make it a show where we want our fans to join us live. So if you wanna be part of the show, send us an email. Again, that's pod at medherosner.com, and we'll actually share a link where you can join us live through the video, as you see over here. You can join us through your computer. Yeah, have a conversation again with all our fans who constantly email us and send us messages. We'd love to free Jane. It's just gonna be a fun show, and almost like a get to know us type of a show. Sure. So we'll announce that we're working on that. It's definitely gonna be end of the year, which is probably a couple of weeks. Let's see what else. And like I said, we'll announce the next shows with Harach. And
this is part 1.
Part 2, and then we'll have part 3 coming up. Again, to support us, please go to medherosner.com and support us with ordering the Vartan, Tigran, and Ashken sculptures. Vartan sculptures are shipping. If you want to support the podcast, you can also go to patreon.com/medherosner. I'm just throwing all the plugs. Yeah. But beside all that stuff, doesn't matter. Follow us on Instagram at medherosner, Facebook, YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscriber button, that little bell when we go live. We don't do lives all the time. So when we do, you'll get notified. And what else?
And again, if anyone, it has to be mentioned again, if anyone wants to help this amazing organization, the Armenian Rug Society, please either reach out to us or reach out to Harach.
Harach, how can they find you on...
hesitate. Do not hesitate.
How do they find you on Facebook?
My last name? Mm-hmm. By the way, I'm the only one in this world with that last name. K-O-Z-I-B-E-Y.
And apparently I tripped on it in the beginning of the show.
You know what? Go to Google, type Armenian rugs.
Yeah, his name comes up. He's right. I've done it too. He's
Harach Kozi Beyokian, that is the last name. Search for him on... I stumbled on it for some reason
Armenian
in the beginning.
rugs.
I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
But I apologize, by the way.
It's okay.
It's the first time I stumbled on the last name. But search for Harach and reach out to him if you want to help him with the Armenian Rug Association.
Yeah. It's important for the culture, guys. It really is.
Yeah. Anything else you want to mention before we...
here is one thing that concern I have. If we don't do anything about this culture, this part of the culture, which almost getting extinct for the past 100 years, in Eastern Armenia, due to the Soviet communism, in Western Armenia due to the massacres, and it's gone. If we don't do anything to solve this, the neighboring enemies are vigilantly waiting to claim this art form as their own. Okay? We're not going to allow that.
No.
They take this from you, they take your identity, they take who you are. A people without a culture is not a
Yeah,
nation.
you're empty.
You're empty. Protect your culture in any aspect, not only rugs. Your culture is who you are. You're defined by your culture. Protect it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Great words. Thank you, everybody. As we always say, thank you for joining us. Respect one another, love one another. Until the next episode, take care of yourselves. Thank you, everyone.